And of course, I played the wrong intro. So let me try to see. No, that was the right intro. Oh well, you guys know what's going on. I don't know. I haven't got my head screwed on straight tonight. I keep getting my thumbnails mixed up. Hello, Nemesis Eden. How you doing there?
Oh, I'm loving life, Pop. How are you doing, bud?
Much better. I don't know what's going on. I kept getting. I was getting the intro ready for tonight, making the thumbnail, and I don't know why I keep getting mixed up between my rumblings from the lab and my horror stream. And so I apologize, everybody out there. I know I'm almost 10 minutes late, or around 10 minutes late, but I made it eventually. So good to see you all. And Gorilla's a little tired tonight. He's been having a whole bunch of partying going on back there. And it's all the family kind. Cake and ice cream, by the way, from the sounds of it. I don't think it's the booze, liquor, coke, and horrors like we'd all wish, right? How you doing, Gorilla?
Well,
No,
I mean, with Gorilla, you never know.
we hit the bar afterwards, so.
See?
There you go. That's how you really party it up. How you doing, Nemesis?
I'm doing okay. Tired too. Like, just worked all day. Fucking dealt with a bunch of weirdos at the pot shop. You know how it goes. Well, maybe not,
Yeah,
but I mean, you've dealt with weirdos.
Well, you call sit behind the counter there on the stool working?
Oh, dude, like, yeah. I'm working smart, not working hard, man. You know how hard it is to sit and watch YouTube all day and get paid for it? Fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
Here, I guess we'll just do. And we're gonna.
They need to get high before they go in there instead of after. That way they'll be more chill.
Dude, right? Like.
Hey, we get a face reveal.
Oh, what, dude? I've had my face on camera several times, but yes, I guess. Yeah, I'm like, if Gorilla's gonna show his handsome face, I gotta throw up some competition.
Yep, Gorilla, you got a haircut tonight.
Yeah. So.
Yep, and hello to everybody in the chat. Thank you for your patience. I know I'm running a little late tonight. Let me pull up these chats because I want to pay tribute to everybody and not ignore anything. Nemesis Bean says, hope everyone is doing well tonight. And I know me, I'm going to show my text here, my chat, because yes, clear, of course, just as I was getting ready to say, clear my throat. Edge of Time says, greetings from the edge of time. Nemesis Bean is glad to hear it, pop culture. Nemesis Bean says, hail, Edge of Time, hope you are doing well. Absolutely, Nemesis Bean says, awesome, glad to hear it, pop. Well, believe me, guys, nobody's more happy to hear it than I am. Edge of Time says, do not adjust your set. We are controlling the transmission. Absolutely. Quick update. I'm feeling much better because I don't know if you've seen my post lately on Twitter, but I found out the reason why I wasn't feeling so well the last month. I went to the doctor this week. They were going to give me another chemo transfusion, unfortunately, the radiation poisoning. But before they do that, they do a blood draw and then test my blood to make sure that my body's up for the poisons and make sure I'm all ready. So I did the blood draw, and they found out apparently I'm anemic, which means that these radiation treatments are not, well, I guess a combination of radiation and chemo treatments that I've been doing have been killing off my red blood cells. So my red blood cells were extremely low, which made me, like I said, anemic. And that's the reason why I've had no energy and been feeling really awful the last 3 weeks. It's like I've kind of been explaining. I know I don't really go into details, but that's the reason why I've missed so many streams lately, is because I felt like I was going to die. I mean, it's like I was always tired with no energy, hard to walk, hard to stand up, hard to get up and down the stairs. Didn't want to do anything. So I found out it's due to low red blood cell count. So it's like the salt creature, I guess, from Star Trek's The Cage got me almost completely. Except I don't have the rings on my face, thank goodness. And what's odd is my blood doctor gave me a transfusion. Dr. Yakula, isn't that nice? Lucky
Dude,
me.
I thought that was hilarious.
I know. At first I thought, okay, this is a joke for Halloween, right? But no, she wasn't joking, and I didn't want to insult her. What's funny is I wasn't feeling that well, but when they handed me the paper, the consent paper to sign, and it said, you need a pint of blood, and your doctor is Dr. Yakula, I actually started laughing out loud, and everybody turned and looked at me. And I said, sorry about that, sorry. But it felt good. That laugh felt good. That was the best thing I felt in a while.
Good.
And yes, and what's interesting is I remember before the transfusion. Okay, I remember this is all through an IV. And before the transfusion, they gave me Benadryl. I didn't know it was in liquid form, but they gave me the Benadryl, and I started getting really dizzy. I almost felt like I was high. And then they gave me the blood transfusion, and then the dizzy/high effect lasted through the whole transfusion, which was probably about 30 minutes, I'm guessing. And then they disconnected me and said, "Okay, go ahead. You're on your way. Go home." And about 10 or 15 minutes later, my head finally cleared. And I have felt much better since then. I don't know if I'm part vampire now, but it's my first transfusion I've ever had, and the blood actually made me feel better. And the last few days, I've had more energy. I've had an appetite. I've been able to move much better. Even my voice sounds better. But it's like night and day. So basically, in a nutshell, go ahead.
No, like finish up, and then I'll say what I was going to say.
Well, in a nutshell, okay, so I got the blood transfusion, which helped in the short term, and I went and bought a whole shitload of vitamins. So I really got to kick in and start taking a bunch of iron and all that kind of garbage to build up my blood. But I've got to basically, the chemo has been killing off red blood cells, and I didn't know, and they didn't say, but I should have been taking a whole shitload of vitamins to compensate for that. Because basically it's iron in my blood. It's been killing off all the iron in my blood and folic acid and stuff like that. So I went and bought a shitload of vitamins. I've been popping those every day. And I'm hoping now. Oh, and by the way, since my blood cell count was down, they weren't able to do the chemotherapy. This was on Thursday. So they postponed it until Monday. So I'm going to keep popping these vitamins. And now hopefully when I have my chemo on Monday, it won't be so rough on me because I'll be taking these vitamins every day. And hopefully that'll counterbalance it making me feel like crap. So sorry to dwell on the negative there. But I wanted to let you guys know what was going on.
No, it's important, Pop.
Go ahead, guys.
Amazing. Yeah, no, like, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. Like, if you've been lacking blood because you're anemic, you don't have the blood to move the oxygen around your body to carry out the nutrients and everything. So, yeah, it makes a lot of sense that, like, you felt like death all the time and you couldn't move and it took a lot of energy to do anything because you didn't have the blood to do that with. So, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And I'm sorry that you've had to deal with that, but at least you figured out what's going on with that. And I mean, I don't know if you want to be a vampire or not. Like, I guess fingers crossed if you do.
No, I'll take the super strength though. That'd be nice.
Well, it depends on what kind of vampire he's going to be. If he's going to be like one of those old school Draculas, yeah, he'd like it. If he's going to end up like one of the Twilight sparkling vampires, he'd probably just say, give me the wooden stake now.
Well, I better tell him to give me some estrogen if I want to be a Twilight Zone vampire or a Twilight vampire, right? Tell him to get rid of all this testosterone and give me a shitload of estrogen, and then I'll be perfect and ready for it. Just like what's his face, the guy that played Batman.
Hey, they need to get extra benefits in California.
Yeah, you're right. In fact, did you guys know remind me, in San Francisco, if you claim you're trans, now I don't know which trans this way, trans that way. But in San Francisco, if you say you're trans, that's automatically $2,000 a month. Isn't that great?
Oh, awesome!
Yeah,
and
by the way, guys, just so you know, let you know, I will be moving here within the next week. And I'm also going to be coming out, and I'm going to be announcing my transition. I'll be moving to San Francisco.
There you go.
Good to know, man. What you?
This is San Francisco. I was reading an article this week that a guy set up right across the street from my high school a booth giving away free fentanyl.
Oh
And
yeah.
The people called the cops, and the cops said there was nothing they could do. So that's San Francisco right there in a nutshell.
Hey, good for them. They voted for it.
That's
So
exactly right.
it. So
that's right.
Why should we step in the way of the stuff they wanted?
Exactly right. Just remember, everything you see in San Francisco, I'm down to the politics, the laws, the mindset, everything that you see in San Francisco. It's your future. Just remember that. It's going to take a few years to get where you're at. But even you guys got to remember, no matter where you're at, no matter where you're living, all the mindset and rules that are going on in California eventually hit where you're at. I mean, it started with, a perfect example is seatbelts, smog control in your cars. And now when you go to work, you've got to call everybody the correct pronouns. That is in every state now, almost every state. They're finally starting to legalize it in some of the states in the deep south. But you got to remember, everything that goes on in California, you're going to see in your state eventually. So that's what's sad. If they would just keep it there, yeah, it'd be great. But no, because it eventually bleeds to all the other states. Edge of Time says cheese and onions. Hello, Basil. Good to see you. Basil says hi, gang. Hi, gang. I got to get my glasses on here. Cheers.
Hey, Basil.
Yep. Edge of Time says hi, Basil. Basil says hi. Edgar of Time. Edgar of Time. Ola Greg, hello there. Vampires require extra vitamins. That's right.
Hey,
Ola Greg, try biting. Yeah, try biting healthier people. I think that's my mistake. Maybe when I hit up at old folks' home. Edgar Time says you should make a custom scent. Bazillionaire by Battle Dragon. That does sound like a great idea. Hello, Jim. Hello. Welcome. Jim says hello. And
hey,
Basil Dragon says, Pop, once you bring your RBC back to normal, you'll feel a lot better. It's a slow process, but good vitamins and good nutrition will help. That's another thing, too. It was a combination of, obviously, of low red blood cell. But because of that, I wasn't eating. I had no energy, no appetite whatsoever. Whenever I would eat, I'd have to force myself. And then, even then, it was just a few bites. And the doctor's like, you need to eat more. I said, believe me, I know of all people I know of because I kept losing weight more and more. I'm 5'9", and when they weighed me on Thursday, I'm down to 135, and that's the lowest I've ever been. So, yeah, that's exactly. Last night, in fact, was the biggest meal that I've had in a long time. And it was good. I actually ate till I was full, and I was hungry. I didn't have to force myself, so that felt
awesome.
Really good. Yeah, because believe me, it's not easy being hungry. When you get sick and you're hungry, it's like, okay, well, that's it. We'll just eat something. But the food didn't taste very good. It's just, I don't know. It's like, even when you think of, okay, I need to eat, what am I going to eat? Nothing sounded good. So now I'm back to where, I'm starting to get cravings again. And like today, I had a bowl of cereal, and oh man, it tastes good to be able to taste Fruity Pebbles and all that all over again. I know that sounds kind of childish, but I don't care. You never grow up.
Dude, I just discovered the joy of Fruity Pebbles, so I feel you.
I know, it's like...
I don't like Fruity Pebbles, but I like my Fruit Loops.
Oh, so do I. I'm just going to say that. I know this is going to sound crazy, but I have Captain Crunch, Fruity Pebbles, Fruit Loops. I just finished off a box of Golden Grahams.
Oh, so you like the roof of your mouth? They're all scraped up, huh?
Yeah, what's funny about that is one of the symptoms of the chemotherapy is getting sores in your mouth. And they asked you, they said, did you have sores in your mouth? I said, only from my Fruity Pebbles.
No, Captain Crunch is the worst for that.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's Captain Crunch. I can't remember what it's called, but it's Captain Crunch, but it's got the little round colored things in it also. And because
Crunch berries.
That's it, the Crunch berries. That's why I get the names mixed up. But what I really miss is Captain Crunch Peanut Butter Crunch. That's what I need to. Never mind. Where is that box I bought? When I was
try out for it because I think we might have some at our Walmart.
What's that? Well, you know what?
Crunch.
Well, what I did was when I was buying I bought cereal, and then it was after I left the store that I realized, wait a minute, I don't have to eat. the peanut butter crunch, which is my favorite. But the good news is they had blueberry for Halloween, and I was like, oh, I snagged a bag of that. And now I'm trying to remember where I put it. Oh well, it's got to be here somewhere. But yeah, it's like okay, I saw a box of blueberry, and it was on sale for $3, and I thought I haven't had that in a long time, so I snagged a little bit of that. But to balance it off, I'm not totally childish. I do mix it up with a little bit of rice checks and shredded wheat. And Basil says, as I suggested on X/Twitter, hello, wonderful, beautiful Suzanne. Suzanne says, hello, Pop. So good to see you, Suzanne. I hope you are doing well. And I know I've said it before, but I want to make sure that her link is working. So tonight, since we're not doing a video, because usually I'm doing a Lost in Space or movie, and when I'm hosting that, my video screen is covering my StreamYards. But tonight, since we're doing Rumblings from the Lab, I can see all the chats clearly, and I'm going to monitor to make sure that it puts up Suzanne's fundraiser. Everybody, please, if you are able to. She's a very sweet person. She's a single grandparent taking care of her grandson. And if you're able to give, any little bit can help. Orla Greg says, cheers, glass of blood. I know that's what everybody's going to be teasing me about that from now on. But you know what? I don't care. I feel much better.
Hey, it's only as long as it's 23. No, wait, or 23. I think that's the vintage year. Dang, I lost my thought.
23, 1923 blood?
No. Blood wine. It's a DS9 reference.
Oh, well, I wouldn't probably know then. Organ meat will help. Beef, liver, chicken, liver, duck, etc. Well, that's good to know. I did have chicken last night. And I did beef liver. That might be a little too much.
Hey, 2309. There is no finer vintage.
2309. Okay, I'll hold my breath until then. I promise. Yes, I will. I'm going to stock up on meat, and you're right about that, Basil. I'll eat beef. I like steak roast, all that good stuff. But liver, oh, I haven't had liver since I was a kid. And when my mom would make it, I mean, it might sound good to a lot of people, and I know a lot of people like liver and onions.
I like the chicken liver or the chicken gizzards.
So do I. Interesting. Yeah, when I was a kid, I would say save those for me. By the way, Gorilla, have you ever had beef heart?
No, but my grandpa has.
It tastes just like chicken gizzard. So, but it's a much bigger piece. I would say, if you closed your eyes and somebody gave you a bite of it, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference between beef heart and chicken gizzard. So, if you like chicken gizzard, you'll love beef heart. It's even better. So, it's like eating a steak of chicken gizzard. It's just, I know for here in California, it's hard to find because I don't know if you guys know, but all the beef in the whole country of the U.S. comes from only 4 slaughterhouses and 4 manufacturing facilities. So now it's harder and harder to find stuff like beef tongue, beef heart, and stuff like that. When I was younger, I would go to the store and they had a butcher counter, and you would see beef tongue and chicken feet and all that. But now you just don't see that stuff.
Well, Pop, tell me how much you want and tell me how to ship it. I'll run to the Walmart over there in Little Mexico and go grab you as much as you want.
Of the beef heart?
Cow tongue, chicken feet.
Well, I won't eat the cow tongue and the chicken feet. I mean, those are always nasty. But beef heart, yes. And not only that, like I said, not only does beef heart taste good, but it's usually, I don't know about anymore, but it used to be cheaper than regular steak.
Hey, run down to your local butcher shop. You guys have a local butcher shop in that town?
Not in this town. This town's too tiny, and it's a tourist attraction.
Your town's bigger than mine.
Is there any like Amish or Hutterites or anything?
No, there's one out of any ethnicities that I've seen. There's one closed down Mexican grocery store, and that breaks my heart. I wish it was open so I can go get chorizo and stuff like that. But
no, my town's only 1,700 people, and we have a butcher shop.
All we have is
Yeah,
one
geez,
grocery
Pop. Why
store.
doesn't your town have a butcher shop? Fuck, man.
I know it, and more than one grocery store. All we have is Safeway, and they suck.
Oh, I know. We have Safeway here too.
We got one grocery store, but there's like six different. There's six of them all together, all locally owned.
Nice. Believe me, I wish I had a choice. Safeway is part of Albertsons, Vons, Ralph's, and Kroger, and that's the most expensive grocery store chain in the entire United States. It doesn't matter where you go; those are going to be the most expensive stores. And not only that, but they rip you off constantly. Every time, if I go and I shop, I'll buy stuff on sale. Like for example, a 6-pack of Pepsi will be on sale, or apples or tomatoes. And then as soon as you walk out, you look at your receipt, you find out they don't charge you the sale price; they charge you the full price. It happens every time. So every time I go back to Safeway, it always starts with a visit to the customer service counter with the receipt from the last trip, saying you overcharged me on this. And now I have the receipt from the last trip, and they said they overcharged me like 20. Okay, the total came out to $75, $80, but they charged me 20 out of that, about $20 too much, and that's a pretty hefty chunk of change, and it happens every single time. And I'm having to deal with that. But I did was I filed a complaint with the. I'm in Arizona. I filed a complaint with the Arizona Attorney General, and about them overgouging with their prices. And Arizona, the way that process works is you file a complaint and say, "Look, this store is overcharging me. Here's what's going on. Blah blah blah." And then it took about a month, and I finally got a reply just at the end of last week from the Attorney General. And what they do is they contact Safeway and say, well, okay, what do you have to say about this? And Safeway replied, but believe it or not, I mean, you're not going to believe it, but their answer is, well, he never said anything to us. We don't hear any complaints. And it's like, oh, okay. So the Attorney General basically says, okay, what do you say about that? To me, what's my response? And then they have a phone number. So I've got my blood transfusion all day Monday. I'm going to be busy. But I figure maybe Tuesday or Wednesday I'll call the Attorney General back and say that's a bunch of BS. Just because Safeway says, well, we never complained to me, which I did every single time. Obviously, if I have to go up to the customer service counter with my receipt, and if I say you overcharged me on this and this and that, I would consider that a complaint. And by the way, every time I go up there, I see the same thing every time. And I know this sounds old, and I'm not a damn Karen. But I go up there to the counter and I say, look, you guys overcharge me every time. I want to talk to the manager. And it doesn't matter who I go, and they all say, I'm the manager. I'm the manager is what they all say. And then I say, okay, you guys overcharged me on this and this and this and that. And then I said, this needs to stop. You guys need to change your policy. I do everything I can, but what they do is, well, fine, sir, next is what they do. And nothing's ever written down. So when Safeway responded to the Attorney General, that was the two things they said. The manager said, well, they never brought it to my attention, and we don't have any record of it. So basically, when I call back the Attorney General, that's what I'm going to tell him. I'm going to say, look, I don't know if you want a timeline or if you want a video of me going back to the store every single time. But I said the fact that I'm going to let them know the fact that Safeway doesn't document this and that the manager just brushes it off saying nobody told me, that's no excuse, and then there's obviously no evidence that it's not happening. And they've been getting busted all over the country, by the way, for overcharging people. So it's like guilty till proven innocent, I guess. I've got to actually prove my case. And I even told the Attorney General, I said, look, I've got my receipts, I can prove this. I know that sounds pedantic and nitpicking, but they're crooks. So if you shop at any of those stores that I mentioned, watch your receipts. Don't just look at the total at the very bottom. Actually go itemize down to what there's, because they'll overcharge you. Like if you buy 2 tomatoes, they'll charge you for 4. If strawberries are on sale for $1 a pound, they're going to charge you the regular price of $6 a pound, and so on and so forth. They do it every single time. And then if you go back and say, look, and you go down the list, and they'll say, okay, well, we're sorry. Here's the difference. They don't write it down. There's nothing, no evidence of it, no proof. And then when they're called on the carpet, they'll say, well, nobody told us, which is a bunch of shit. Suzanne, Gorilla. Suzanne says, Gorilla, hello.
Hey, Suzanne.
And Suzanne says, Jim, hello. And Basil says, dark meats and dark green veggies as well. Yeah. Now that I can handle. That I can handle. The dark meats and dark green veggies. I like peas, green beans, asparagus, all that stuff. And I know what falls into that category is broccoli, but I've never been a big fan of broccoli. And I think that's because when I was a kid, we never ate it. So I never adapted to it, but I seriously need to give it a try because out of all the dark vegetables out there, that I know that I've heard that's one of the best. And Suzanne says, Greg, hello. And Jim says, new alien video and drops the link. Check out that, ladies and gentlemen. And Jim, let me know when you're going to do another stream. I will be there. I wasn't sure if you were going to do that one last night or not, but I was keeping an eye out for that. And that's why I didn't stream. I didn't want to stream over you just in case. Ola Greg says, hi, Suzanne. And good. Stream Elements is working. There's a link to Ola Greg's channel. Check that out, everybody. And now that I know Stream Elements is working, I'm going to keep an eye on it, make sure that it does show Suzanne's link. Jim says, hail, Suzanne. And Basil says, hi, Ola Greg. Cheers and a round of blood for you, too. Yeah, and it's perfectly fitting for Halloween month. What do you know? Suzanne drops a link to Ola Greg's channel. Thank you so much, Suzanne. I appreciate that. And Suzanne says, Nemesis says, hello. Ola Greg says, delicious.
Hey,
Basil.
Suzanne.
Suzanne drops a link to Nemesis channel. Thank you for that, too, as well, Suzanne. I really appreciate it. Suzanne is
Thank
a
you.
fantastic ranch. She's excellent. Basil Battle.
Yeah, she's awesome.
I do, unfortunately, still have my cough. And when I'm going to fill myself with the cough come, I'll try to mute myself. If I miss it, I apologize to everybody. Basil Battle Dragons is indeed Ola Greg. And Suzanne drops a link to Basil's channel. Excellent. Oh, no, Pop. I wish we were closer. I would take care of you and cook for you. Oh, my God, Suzanne, that is so sweet of you. Yeah, as it stands here, that's a very difficult hurdle here is being able to cook. So a lot of what I eat, I had, like yesterday, the reason why I had the chicken is because I went to the grocery store, bought food. So I bought the chicken that was already cooked. They had them on sale for a whole chicken, or 8 pieces for $6, already cooked in the deli. I don't know if that's a good price anymore. But I bought that, and that's why I was able to eat last night. It was nice. I just had to throw it in the microwave. But I wish cooking was easier around here. Suzanne says, Edge of Time, hello. And Basil says, Doc can give you a round of vitamin shots to give you start. That's a good idea. I didn't think about that. Gamma globulin and vitamin B1 and B12. It is not pleasant, but it helps. Go easy on the sugar. Oh, then I guess I shouldn't have had the cereal this morning. Gamma globulin. Yeah, I know. You know what's a good idea, or what's interesting. And I was just thinking about this before the stream tonight. Is I had the bowl of cereal and it like made me really tired. When they test my blood, I've been testing okay as far as diabetes. I'm not over or under on sugar that I know of. I'm low on salt, but I've noticed now that sweets, it really makes you tired. I don't know. It does a number on my body. It makes me want to sleep. Now the gamma globulin I have not heard of, but the vitamins I bought does include B1 and B12. But since you mentioned that, when I go back on the, by the way, Basil, thank you. When I go back Monday for the infusion, I'm going to ask them about this gamma globulin, about getting a shot. Yeah, if I can get a shot, that'll even help better, like that little boost. But I noticed you said it's not pleasant. So what's the after effects, Basil? Ola Greg says fat protects you during a health crisis. If you start skinny, you have no reserves of fat. Yeah, that's all I have is because, like I said, I'm usually 5'9", and my whole life I've always averaged about 165. When I get heavy, I'm a little 170 maybe. But this is, all I meant. I'm basically, that's what another reason why you guys won't see me on camera anytime soon is I look like a skeleton. I look like, in fact, you guys will get this. I look like the old man from Poltergeist 2 right now. So that's why I won't be on camera until I can gain some weight. And I need to cut my hair off because the chemo turned my hair white. Jim
whatever.
says,
I mean, like,
I know
about the hair, not so much about the weight, but like,
I know, but it's embarrassing because it's gotten to the point where because of my appearances, people stare at me when I'm in public. So I wear a hat, and I usually try to keep the build, a baseball cap, and I try to keep the bill down, and then try to cover my face the best I can.
You were here. I accidentally clicked on scrolling down.
Sorry, what's that?
You were here. I accidentally clicked the comment while I was scrolling down.
That's fine. Thank you. Jim says, Captain Crunch, is he here? And Oleg says, bite the doc. Yeah, exactly. I'll bite her. Well, I don't know if she's Dr. Yakula, so she could probably control whatever I do. Basil Battle Dragon says, oatmeal is a good source of iron as well. I do like oatmeal, so that's a good idea. I need to get the microwave kind. Basil Battle Dragon says, good point, Euler.
Hey, well, another good source of iron is just start spooning in some metal shavings.
I was thinking about that. I need to start cooking with a cast iron skillet and start chipping off parts of that.
Oh, I got plenty of. I have plenty of iron in my system.
I wish I could say that. Well, I'm hoping to get there. I'm going to keep taking these vitamins.
Yeah. Oh, it's from my job. We work with metal all day, so.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I got that. Makes sense.
There's a lot of metal shavings flying around.
Well, as long as you don't get it under the skin, I guess, right?
Or in the eye. I've had a few of that where you got to go to the emergency and be like, all right, don't move your eyeball because you have a fucking chunk of metal in there. And if you go to bed with it, it's going to rust in your eye. And I've also done that. Don't do that.
Well, it's not so bad you have it in the eye. And there was so much metal in my feet, it doesn't bother me until like you get one that's embedded and it gets starts turning red and white around it. Then that hurts like a bitch.
How does it get in your feet? I mean, don't you have like boots on or what?
Yeah.
It goes through the boot?
These are tiny metal shards these are very metal shavings. They're smaller than pencil shavings. They're real tiny.
What do you do, Gorilla?
Well, I'm the inspector, but we make diesel manifolds, and the guys.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Mr. CCDB. And the guys
Hello.
behind me, they grind out and smooth out the inside of the parts and remove any like holes or anything that's in the metal, and that they make it all nice and smooth and that. And then they bring them out to the table there. But half the time they don't blow the damn things out. So I go to inspect them, and then I get a lap full of metal shavings.
No, that's not good. That's like, you guys know what fiber optic is, right? You know, the glass fibers they use for like internet, right? Okay.
Yeah.
When I was working for the schools, we were installing that in the school. Of course, this dates me. Of course, I'm old. So this was like the 90s and 2000s when they were putting in fiber optics. And whenever you're installing fiber optic cables, because they're very thin, hair-like lines of glass, pretty much. And that's a good example of like what Gorilla is saying is, whenever you're trimming those, like normally if anybody's cut wire, like if you're cutting wire and you're splicing it together, with fiber optic, whenever they cut it, the pieces of the shards are so small, they can penetrate through gloves, right into your skin, right into your bloodstream, and then right up to your heart and kill you. And you wouldn't even know it. It would all within a matter of minutes. So whenever you're working on fiber optic, they've got these special dispensers that you've got to put the trimmings in. It's similar when you guys go to the hospital and they have those plastic things on the wall where they put the old used needles in there.
Yeah.
They look like that, but it's for used fiber optic. So I can understand how the metal shard can get through your boots there, Gorilla.
Well, no,
anyways,
they go through the top or around the flap of your boots and stuff like that. I just wear regular tennis shoes and they go around the flaps and stuff.
I used to get it when you'd be like drilling above over your head or whatever, and you'd like move your hard hat and it would like fall down in over top of your safety glasses and into your eye, and you're just like, ah!
Well, the guys in the grinding room wear actual goggles there. No, but the one time I got really mad there because I was wearing the basketball shorts, and these are the ones that have like, well, they have the solid inside, you know, but they got the real mesh with the circles on the outside there. And I went to pick them apart. I got a whole lap full of damn metal shavings. I told that guy, I told him, you're going to be pulling metal shavings on my goddamn nutsack for the next week.
You basically just got to get rid of those shorts and hope for the best.
Yeah, dude, straight up. That's a sacrifice that I'd be willing to make at least.
I got Gorilla. Maybe get you some leotards or something. Maybe that'll help, huh? How are you
There
doing,
go.
Mr. CCDB?
Not too bad. I'm trying to decide whether I want to go out tonight or not.
Well, it's right. It's Saturday night, isn't it?
Yep.
It sure is.
Saturday night. Oh, crap.
Yeah,
I
Mr.
don't have my
CC.
cigarettes with me.
Oh, we gotta run to the store.
No, I've got cigarettes in the living room. It's just my computer's in my bedroom.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, I was just telling Mr. CCDB. Before you got here. I was just telling everybody that I've been kind of under the weather the last month, really bad, with no energy, not being able to do much, not eating much, lost a lot of weight.
Yeah,
And
I can't expect anything else.
Well, I went for my transfusion, and I found out that this chemotherapy. I'll try not to recycle what I've been saying because I know everybody already heard this. But the chemotherapy pretty much has been killing my red blood cells. So I found out that I was anemic. And on Thursday, I got a blood transfusion from my Dr. Yakula, by the way. Dr. Yakula.
Dr. Yakula, no kidding.
Yeah,
Awesome.
that is my doctor. Exactly, right? So they gave me some pint of blood, which makes it feel a lot better. It gave me energy. Even my voice is better, and I can breathe a little better.
I mean, yeah. Every time you've talked to me in the last few days has been the same thing. So yeah, I totally get that.
Yeah. So now that I know that basically the chemo is killing off my iron and a bunch of other things is what's been going on. You know, it'd have been nice if they had warned me ahead of time, but they didn't. But now that I know, I got the blood transfusion and I went about a shitload of vitamins. And I'm going to start stocking up on those vitamins. And then now that also I've got an appetite again. So I'm hoping my strength will start coming back.
Oh,
and I can start
speaking of appetite, by the way, you said something about feeling uncomfortable cooking in my kitchen. Seriously?
Huh? Oh, no. I can't get up and down the stairs.
Ah, got it. Understood.
No, like if I put something on the stove, I don't really have the strength to stand there and wait for it and watch it. And if I go upstairs, I'm gonna feel like, oh, I don't want to go down the stairs, and whatever it is gonna burn. So it's only as I can't stand up very long right now. I haven't had much strength. That's all. No, I don't feel. I don't. It's not that I don't feel comfortable down there. I just can't. I don't have the strength to go up and down the stairs to cook. I can go down and I can put something in the microwave and heat it up, and then come back up the stairs.
Oh, I know
it's
that
just
feeling. Yeah.
Like spaghetti sauce. You know, like if I want to fry some chicken or something. All that sounds good, but I just don't have the strength to stand there long enough for it.
I get that.
Yeah.
I get that. Yeah. Well, when we were having that apple bake a couple of nights ago, that was a lot of fun for all of us, and it would have been fantastic if you had been able to. But I think you were doing Gilligan's Island while we were baking all the apples off.
Well, I can tell you this: it smelled delicious. I could smell it all the way upstairs. I heard you saying that this is apple season, huh? I guess.
Oh, it is, yeah. For Arizona, anyway, it is. I know maybe you got a month down in Phoenix. I don't know what it's like in Florida or California, but yeah, here in Arizona, if you got a backyard apple tree, it's this month or next month, and then all the apples are ruined. And this is the first time in 20 years that we've had apples that look like this up here in northern Arizona because it's been so dry for so long.
Oh, you mean so the rain helped that much?
Incredible. I know before you moved in, I shoveled snow off the drive, I don't know, like 60% of the time. And so I knew that everything was going to grow this summer. And yeah, so what we're dealing with now is an overabundance of apples that we need to deal with in northern Arizona. And everybody's starting to realize, hey, Mr. CCDV does really good fried apples.
Oh, that sounds really good. I haven't had those since I was a kid. My mom used to make those.
Oh, I got some in the refrigerator right now, but I know how you are with taking taking a bit of other people's food. You're not okay with it, but hell, anything in the refrigerator is yours.
I appreciate that. It's very kind of you. And it's not because of you, like I said, it's because of where I've used to live before is all.
Well, I went to culinary school and I was a chef, and I am just basically a cook at this point. But yes, anything in the refrigerator, you can be guaranteed that it's safe. Serve safe, certified, hasn't been laid out for more than 3 hours. If anything like that happens in my kitchen, then I throw it away. But that's for my own health problems and not your health problems. But I understand that we haven't actually had that conversation, so it's fine.
I appreciate that. No, and it does make sense too. Yeah, I try to, if I'm able
And
to, try to eat healthy food as well. And
I
something
really
that
do need to go get my cigarettes, so I'll be right back.
sounds good. Older Greg says Captain Crunch got his name crashed into the clock a lot.
Doc.
I'd like that. You know, there's some cereal brands that I used to eat when I was a kid. They're no longer around. But Captain Crunch is one of the ones I do remember. That's been around ever since as long as I can remember. And I still like it. And you're right, Gorilla. It is tough on the roof of your mouth. Ola Greg says, 2 good points, Basil/champ. And anytime says, Count Crocula's totally legit lemonade. Ooh, that sounds interesting. Now that I think about it, you know, like I said, I bought the box of blueberry, but I didn't see Frankenberry or Chocula there on the counter. I wonder. You think you'd be able to see Count Chocula for Halloween as well? And Suzanne says, Pop, I found a mama cat with 4 babies in the garage tonight, so he went and took her food and water. I asked him where the baked ham and barbecue chicken went that I made. He looked down to the floor. Well, that's very kind of him. I can understand too. I love animals very much, so I would have done the same thing, especially strays. I feel sorry for them if they're hungry. And Suzanne says, and say, Grandma, I gave it'll Mama cat. Basil says, plenty of beef tongue here in Houston. Ha ha ha. Yeah, because you guys have all those. You guys have all those cattle farms and everything, and obviously, like when I was living in California, that's what they're trying to do is they're cutting down on the beef and pork farms, trying to force everyone to eat soy, and that's why you have all those men wearing around man buns. But
I can
like
do I can do beef tongue that makes you think that you're eating ambrosia.
I haven't had beef tongue. Like I was telling them earlier, I used to see it in the butcher shops.
Well,
I've never actually tried it.
my grandmother used to make beef tongue, and it was awful. It was just absolutely awful. But that's because the tongue, if you think about it, like even cows, they're licking their lips all day long.
Well,
And
it's the
so
strongest muscle in the body.
nothing but muscle.
Yeah.
And so if you slow cook it for 12 hours and you put all the flavors you want into it for 12 hours and you slow cook it, it turns into ambrosia. It is so good because it is literally almost all muscle.
Which means very little fat.
Exactly.
So do you have to add for flavor, like beef broth or something like that?
Depends on what kind of flavor you want. I mean, beef tongue can be flavored a lot of different ways.
Okay, so I like a pork loin roast. It basically takes on whatever spices you want to put in it.
Yeah, but the pork loin you only cook for 20 minutes ever. Pork loin,
the beef tongue.
the way that Americans have bred pigs, there is absolutely no fat on pigs anymore. Not the way it used to be. You can get some farm grown, farm to table type pigs, but they're very expensive. So if you're just buying a pork loin out of the store, then I guarantee you there's hardly any fat in it at all.
You're right about that.
I mean, I have trouble finding a good pork shoulder these days, and most places are like, pork shoulder. A lot of places love making pork shoulder meats and stuff, so we're going to do that. So there's some fat in pork shoulders, but pork loins, there's no fat at all. They even take the silver skin off the pork loins.
Now the guys here were asking me about if there's a. We don't have a butcher shop here in this town, do we? I mean, all we have is Safeway, right?
No, there is a butcher shop, and he does, but he takes a long time. It's one guy. Our town is a very small town.
Right.
Our town is a very small town. There is a butcher shop in Flagstaff, which is 30 miles away, so that's a 60-mile round trip. If I'm going to do a special recipe and I don't feel like making a beef stock or a chicken stock to make that special recipe, I'll make the 60-mile round trip to Flagstaff. I will. But if I can do it at home, I'll do it at home because it's cheaper, faster, easier, etc., etc.
Yeah, I didn't know we had a butcher shop. I was telling them about beef heart because I do like beef heart, but I haven't been able to buy that in years. I haven't seen it in the stores.
Oh, you can get the butcher shop on San Francisco Street in Flagstaff. That's where you can get it.
Oh, Flagstaff.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I thought, but I didn't think there was one here in Williams.
No,
Or
not here
Flagstaff.
in Williams. No, as a matter of fact, the butcher that we have in here in Williams, he actually may be able to get you the heart. I haven't talked to him personally because I'm a store-bought boy. I grew up in Los Angeles. I don't actually understand all the concepts of mass marketed produce or produce and production. So I grew up in Los Angeles, so anything I wanted was available, just depending on what shop you went to. But yeah, this guy here in Williams undoubtedly has beef hearts because we have like 4 ranches just surrounding the city. So
I didn't know that. Cool.
Oh yeah, we've got lots of ranches. We've got 2 ranches to the south and 1 ranch to the north and 1 ranch to the east. Yep. Okay, I got that right.
I didn't check
So
it out.
we have
That
all
sounds,
that. And we have
like
one butcher. We have one butcher who does all those 4 ranches.
Oh, is it nuts? That's the guy you were talking about?
Yeah, I can't remember his name though. But I've
Is it a
had
meat market?
his. Say again.
Is it a meat market? You with a storefront and everything?
Oh no, he's just one guy in a trailer, and he goes to each ranch and he takes personal contracts for half a hog. All right,
so butcher for hire.
Yeah, butcher for hire, and he drives around to the ranches and other places, and he does the pure. You would call it if you were advertising it, you would call it farm to table, grass fed, organic, etc., etc. All the taglines that go.
All the buzzwords. Yeah, they love those in California. Right. Cage free, all that garbage.
So that's what he does. And I've had his meat, and it is absolutely fantastic.
Obviously, it's got to be better than the stuff we're getting from Safeway, which is imported from another state.
Oh, well, again, having gone to school and having worked for these places, they do get from local as often as they can, but the corporations make contracts to pay less for stuff that people would pay a premium for.
More for, right?
So if you're talking about that same butcher, which you're not, because Safeway does get their meat from Phoenix.
Right.
But Phoenix gets their meat from Los Angeles, etc., etc. You can follow the chain all the way down if you really want to.
Right.
But this guy if you get it from if you get the meat from the store, which is across the street from Safeway, then you know that it's local beef and it's local pork and it's local chickens and all that stuff. But you got to do your research, right? And any town that you live in, you got to do your research. I'm just too lazy to go anywhere other than Safeway, so my food is kind of bland, but kind of bland on the highest level of cookery. If
Well,
that makes sense.
it makes sense too. When the nearest town's 30 miles away, you can't go every time you want to grab something. You know, every time you want to grab some food,
Right.
you can't drive 30
When
miles.
when I make kebabs or when I make Turkish pizza or when I make uh, doners. Oh, when I make doners, I lived in Germany for 3 years, so I love doners so
Well, fill me
much.
in. What is that? I've never heard of that term.
It's pita bread with it's wrapped around a pita bread wrapped around a lamb. Um, what do they call it here in the United States? Not gyro meat, gyro meat. A lot
Oh,
of
okay,
people,
I've heard of that gyro.
yeah, gyro meat, which is lamb and pork stacked up on top of each other, which is just fantastic. Uh, but when I make that at home, I have to drive to Flagstaff to get the proper meats, and I have to drive to Flagstaff to get the proper seasonings because you have to have the right ziki, right? So the ziki sauce is the yogurt sauce that you have to make, and it takes me 2 days to make the proper yogurt sauce, but it's good. But
It sounds like I'm sure it is.
it takes a while. Most of my best recipes really do take 2 or 3 days to do. I I don't know. The reason I always default to bolognese is because it's like just go to the store, buy a bunch of tomatoes, and start cooking.
Well, I don't
Bolognese
blame
is
you.
a lot of French chefs would tell me that my bolognese is pedestrian, but honestly, I don't think so.
That's interesting. No, I didn't know that. And you said there was something across the street from the Safeway?
Say again.
You said there was something across the street from the Safeway?
Yeah, there's a Mexican
Grocery store? Isn't that closed
grocery
down?
store. Is it closed down?
I think so. When I drive by it, because I was just telling them before you came on that I wish I could get some good Mexican chorizo, but every time I go by it, it looks like it's boarded up. I hope I'm wrong.
I hope you're wrong too, because that is the best place to get authentic Mexican ingredients. It's a great place to go. I haven't, because I'm lazy and I'd rather just get everything in one shot. I'll
Yeah.
go to Safeway and I'll get everything from there because for a 30-day menu, I'm cool. I can make a 30-day menu for myself.
Well, it makes sense, and Safeway's not far away, so that helps.
Exactly. But
Compared to 30 miles.
I've been in that shop multiple times. They know who I am.
Do you remember the last time you were there? How long ago that was?
It was before I broke my leg.
Do you remember if it was before I came?
Actually, yeah, it was before you came. I'm not sure they're open in the wintertime.
Or maybe I guess maybe that's the reason. Maybe it's seasonal?
That may very well be the case.
Family owned?
The Dairy Queen is seasonally operated too. They hire in the spring and they say, well, we're closing down, goodbye, in the fall. Yeah, so it may very well be the case because Dairy Queen's been doing that for 30 years. And so it's possible that the Mexican place across the street is doing the same thing.
Okay, that makes sense. I was wondering about that. A lot of the restaurants and things are probably the same way. I'm sure when things start snowing and closing down, I'm sure they're going to start doing that as well.
I just know that that shop wasn't there when I joined the army back in the 90s.
So, okay, I'll just keep an eye out every time I pass by and see maybe I can catch them when they're open. And Suzanne says basil oatmeal is an excellent weight loss and diabetic food, great for the heart, as health, great for the health as well. It's interesting too. As I was just watching, I like to watch YouTube cooking videos, and I was watching this one where this guy made butterscotch oatmeal, and I thought, wow, that sounds delicious. I love butterscotch. Edge of Time says vampires just need the D3. Ever think of that? No, you just think of yourself. Of course, I know, right? Basil, what's funny too is, and I just bought some. This is before the blood transfusion. I was actually craving V8, which I don't buy very often, but I bought some V8. Basil Battle Dragon says, "You're right, Suzanne." And Basil says, "Easy." Edge of Time says, "Oatmeal is nasty crap, unpalatable alone." When I was a kid, we used to eat oatmeal and cornmeal and cream of wheat, and I can every now I won't eat it every day, but every now and then I can crave some of that. Basil Battle Dragon says Safeway is owned by Randall's, not Kroger. Well, when I contacted them, yes, Mr. CCTV, I don't know if you noticed at the Safeway here. I was just telling these guys before he came on, they're always overcharging. So every time after I'm done shopping, I got to hold on to my receipt because the next time I go back, they have to reimburse me because they don't charge the sales prices. They'll charge you many times the regular price on things that are supposed to be on sale. And this Safeway is really, really bad at that. And I've never been there where they have not overcharged me.
I have lived here. I have lived here for over 5 years, and so I have the Safeway app with all the
Me too.
the coupons.
Right.
I have the Safeway card where I swipe it and I get the discount. So I get the discount on gasoline. 40 cents a gallon was the last one I got.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
No, not bad at all. And also, I know most of the cashiers.
Yeah, but I don't think it's. I think it's because obviously all they do is scan. I think it's they're not programming their stuff right. I think is what it is.
Well, I've been in this debate before, and I'm not sure I'm ready or prepared or have any.
Somebody else brought it up.
But the fact is, we are 30 miles from anywhere.
Right.
So you got to factor in gasoline, and my truck gets, when I'm getting the best of all possible gasoline mileage out of my truck, I'm getting 20 miles to the gallon, maybe.
Right.
So I have to drive 30 miles to Flagstaff to get the cheaper prices, which means I'm spending, I don't know, like $20 every time I go to Flagstaff. So compare that to the prices that I pay for eggs or milk or cheese or whatever the case may be. And I understand why Safeway is marking up their prices.
Well, I don't mind it. That's because I know they're the only grocery store in the area, and I know it's better than traveling. But what I'm saying is they're charging more. Like I was telling them, if apples are on sale for like $1 a pound, and you'll buy apples, if you don't check your receipt, you'll see that they charge you the regular price, not the sale price. That's the problem. Is they're not charging me the sale price on stuff. And I have the same app you do, and I check it off. And in fact, it's gotten to where I'm not even going to use the app anymore. I'm going to grab the physical ad and actually start having to cut out coupons and hand them to the cashier because they're not giving me the sales prices. What's going on? Or like I was telling them, if I buy 2 onions, they'll charge me for 4. I'm getting a lot of that.
I'm sorry, pop culture. I think I need to start debating with Basil Battle Dragon because apparently I should be canning and jarring everything in
I
order
wish I
to
could.
save money so I don't have to go to Safeway anymore.
I know, and I wish I could. And Basil, by the way, Safeway, you say Safeway is owned by Randall's, not Kroger. They're all under the umbrella because I had to actually contact them because, like I said, they were overcharging me every time. So when I contacted them, finally I had to contact corporate. And when you call, it says Albertsons, and it says that we are all, so they're all under the
Yeah.
umbrella of Albertsons.
It is really because my grandfather used to work for Safeway. That was before Safeway was bought out by Albertsons. But my grandfather used to work for Safeway, and he had a pension from Safeway, and it paid for his house. He paid for his 3 cars. It paid for
Nice.
all of us to live off of a Safeway pension. And mind you, this is my grandfather. This is from World War II, and
When they used to give good pensions, yeah.
GI Bill and all that stuff. And yeah, so the pensions worked out great for him. It worked out great for us too, by the way. But at this point, it's like, okay, I don't know what to tell you because there's really no way I can save money driving to Flagstaff to get bulk stuff.
Well, when I get my car running, we'll do that. We can start taking my car.
I don't have 4 kids anymore. I don't have a wife anymore. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go to Safeway because it's right down the street, and that's so easy.
Right. Less mouths to feed, the better, too. Won't cost you
If
as
I
much.
still had a wife and 4 kids, I would definitely be driving to Flagstaff to get, stuff.
That's when you really have to stock up, too. That way you would have to drive every week. You there, Gorilla? How you doing? You've been quiet.
All right. No, I've been letting you guys talk, but I'm gonna head to bed here soon.
Yeah, I know you've been partying on, so I completely understand, Gorilla. You going to be there Monday for the Lost in Space?
Yeah, I should be.
Okay, I'm covering The Thing on Tuesday. The movie The Thing from 1982. If you haven't seen that yet, I did drop the link in my community tab.
Alrighty.
So try to
That's
watch
the
that.
one with what's his name?
Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell, yeah. The best thing ever.
Yeah, this whole month I'm showing nothing but horror movies for Halloween month. So the next, I think we only have, 1 week left before the end of the month. So Tuesday we're going to do The Thing, and then I'm going to have a special Halloween celebration coming up the following week because the following Tuesday, I think, falls on Halloween night. Let me confirm my calendar here. Yes.
I did order a 11th Doctor leather jacket. Not because, well, okay, fair enough. Because I want to be the 11th Doctor. Chris Eccleston was the best Doctor Who, I think, ever. And he only lasted 1 year, so I ordered his jacket, and I got the red Bad Wolf t-shirt with the Bad Wolf that looks like it's spray painted on the t-shirt. So I'm going to wear the Bad Wolf t-shirt and the leather jacket, and hopefully someone will know what I'm dressed up as. But I suspect that a lot of people will not anymore because Doctor Who is so bad right now.
Well, I know the history of it. Honestly, I'm guilty. I never watched it, but because of being online here lately, I know the big fiasco with Jodie Whittaker, and I've heard her name and what they've done to they basically ruined the franchise, like they've done Star Wars and Star Trek and everything. From what I've heard.
Yeah, exactly. They have.
Yeah. And I heard the new Doctor.
I mean, everybody goes on and on and on about Star Wars. Like,
Right.
Star Wars was ruined because of XYZ.
Woke,
And
right?
now we've got Doctor Who that was ruined because of literally Z, and then whatever comes after Z, because
Yes.
she absolutely ruined everything. But they doubled down. They got a black man who is gay playing the
Yes.
Doctor, which would not be a problem ever if they were not pushing social agenda while they're doing it.
Right. Well, not only that, they're not even looking at the fact that people are tuning away and they don't care. It's all under. It's all because of the name of ESG. And but like Disney, I mean, they're losing so much money right now. Their stock is just tanking, and they don't seem to care.
It's an older franchise than both uh 63
Yeah, early '60s, somewhere
started.
around there.
Yeah, 63 is when it started. So it's an older franchise than most other franchise that are being bastardized right now.
Well, think about it. They're doing the same thing to James Bond, and now they got Scooby Doo. So they don't care.
Exactly.
They're
Oh
getting
my
every
god.
franchise they can get their hands
Oh,
on.
don't even start on Velma.
I know.
Start on Velma.
Gorilla
Oh
here on
my
the panel's an
god.
expert. He had some watch parties of Velma, right, Gorilla?
Hey, like how that? Hey, like you should have called me a fat. Hey,
That'll teach him. Show him an episode of Velma, right?
yeah.
That'll
It was
teach
so
you.
bad, the source didn't even want to play it.
People don't
It's
even
sad.
want to see reviews of Velma anymore.
See, that's just it. It's making you. Not only that though, but that makes you where it. Okay, like for example, Star Wars. I used to love Star Wars, but because what they've done to it, I won't even watch the classic Star Wars anymore. But I'll still,
Oh.
even though they ruined Star Trek, I'll watch the classic Star Trek. But it's getting to where they're ruining franchises so badly where you don't even want to watch the originals anymore.
I do actually like Lower Decks because Lower Decks is basically just a member berry show. And so
I've heard that.
I like Lower Decks because it's a member berry show. But yeah, you're right. You're right. You're absolutely right. The newer Star Treks are all awful. Awful. Just terrible stuff.
Yep. I think Gorilla likes Lower Decks, didn't you, Gorilla? Haven't you mentioned that?
Yeah, Lord X is pretty funny. I
Because
like
I've
it.
heard, I know I've heard that a lot. I've heard a lot of people say, "Well, I don't like new Star Trek, but I like Lower Decks." I just heard that again a few days ago.
Yeah, well, it does have a lot of member berries, but it's really funny. And now that they really toned down season 2 was they kind of
Oh
overdid the
yeah.
flex jokes and
Season
stuff,
two was
but they
season
toned
two
it
was
way
pretty
down.
bad.
It's gotten a lot better.
No, season 2 was pretty bad because they tried to be more Star Trekky, I think. But season 3
Yeah, going
turned it
full
back
spread
around.
eagle is not more tricky.
Sorry, what's
Say
that?
again?
Going full spread eagle is not more tricky. When they have
Oh, okay, I got you. Yeah, more spread eagle than Star Trekky. I got it.
What do you mean by spread eagle?
Boimler was doing some kind of holodeck test and all that. That they're doing some kind of test, and the lady was purposely failing them. And they went to this. It was supposed to be like a Ryza simulation. They had Boimler naked, full legs spread out on the table, legs up in the air.
Oh no, that was the first season when they did the when he was on the holodeck and he was doing the shuttle scene or whatever. He turned around, he was completely naked. Yeah, that was the first season. Believe
Was
it or
that the
not.
first season?
I thought that show's supposed to be for kids.
No, Prodigy was.
Prodigy is for kids.
Oh, I lost count.
Which that one was pretty good there. Me and my kid enjoyed watching that together.
I only watched one episode of Prodigy. Sorry.
I know it's pretty good. But I did go on a rant on it though.
Why is that?
Because they took away my best of both worlds moment. See you guys that grew up watching TNG on regular TV there in the 80s.
Right.
when you got to that to be continued in the best of both worlds, you guys were like, "What?" And then you guys had to wait 3 months to wait. They
Yep,
took
African
that away
Banger.
from me. I thought I'd finally get my chance with the end of that one episode. That would have been a great season ender, And I'll be like, I gotta wait another 6 months to figure out what the hell happens in this episode. Nope, they took that moment away from me. They took my chance.
Oh,
Have one of
darn
those
you,
moments.
you younger generation, just no attention span, right?
I wanted that 6 months.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I wanted my own best of both worlds moment. I did not get it.
It's like me when I was, well, think about this, Gorilla. When I was young and watching, like, I used to watch TOS, and if I missed like an episode of the Tribbles, I had to wait a whole year to watch the next time they showed it. So, yeah, you guys got it made these days, especially with the streaming and binging and all of that good stuff.
Yeah, we didn't have that growing up though. Dude, we saw the birth of the internet and shit. We didn't have that. I remember watching like episodes of Dragon Ball Z and having to watch like months and months of filler just to get to a point, and then they're like, oh, by the way, we don't actually have the next stuff, so we're going to restart it at episode 1, and then you have to go through a whole year again just to get to the next episode. So you want to talk about attention span? Some of us do have it, some of us don't. It just depends on what we're putting it towards.
I've got all of the above. I admit that 100%. I've got all of the above. My problem is I didn't buy my first computer until I got back from Bosnia. So I didn't actually own a computer that could do any of this stuff that we're doing right now until 1999.
Well, that's about when computers were maturing, I guess you could say. Because before then, it was mostly all text, typing, word processing. But yeah,
exactly.
Around 2000.
I mean, even after I bought my computer, it was like, okay, I'm in these chat channels.
Yeah, back to the chat days.
Nothing like what we have now with the video chats and everything.
Yeah, you're right about that. I remember those days. I'm old school, so BB. We had the BBSs, and then we had the chat rooms, like you're talking about, like AOL, all that kind of stuff. Well, that really dates me. That's when the internet was expensive. That's where you had to pay by the minute and by the hour and all that garbage. Basil says Kroger is merging with Appletree, which is going to create an enormous grocery chain. I have not heard of Appletree, but I don't like mergers. Usually that means less choice and higher prices.
Yay!
Suzanne, yeah, there you go. Somebody's rooting for Appletree. Suzanne says, Basil, my boy and I went for annual checkup the other day. My boy lost 50 pounds. That's incredible. He's now, I see, 284 pounds at 14 years old. And I'm down to 160, so we are both doing great. That's good and good for him because I know that it's definitely not easy. I have I've never been 284, but I've been overweight where I've had to lose it, and it's definitely a regimen that is not fun. And Basil Battle Dragon says, great, Suzanne. Sorry, I'm getting caught up on the chat, everybody. Suzanne says, Edutime, my boy loves it with cinnamon and brown sugar. Talking about oatmeal, and so do I. Cinnamon and brown sugar is good on everything. Basil says, Pop, every time you talk to a store manager, get the first and last name. Yeah, you're right. Well, actually, there is a really nice guy. He's an older gentleman who usually is the one working the customer service counter. But you're right. I need to write down his name. I was thinking about that when I got that reply back from the Attorney General.
His name is Thor.
His name is Thor, and I never found that out.
Joke. I'm not joking. His name is Thor.
Does he wear a name badge? It seems like I would have spotted it. I guess
he does wear a name badge. And yes, he's lost 200 pounds in the last year. His name is Thor.
No, I didn't know that. He's a very nice guy.
He is an incredibly nice guy. He lost more weight than I did over the last couple of years. He's incredible.
Oh, well, the next time I go, I'm going to ask for him. There's a woman there that wasn't very polite last time, but I've never had any problems or issues with him.
I suspect you were probably talking to Sherry.
Dark hair brunette.
Yep.
It's pretty
Okay.
bad. That's who it is, just by the 3-word description like that.
I know, really. I guess it is a small town.
For the most part, honestly, no kidding, in a small town, you say, "Oh, by the way, I'm a local resident, and I know these people." And
Well,
then,
hell, I live in a town so small, my neighbors know when I go to take a shit.
Well, no, that's a little too small.
you live in a really bad small town.
Well, hey, I know my neighbors watch my house. I got proof of it. I got proof they watch my house.
What is that?
Okay, my dad converted this old band seat into a bench that we used to sit on the fire pit that was on the driveway and all that. It's actually pretty cool looking, you know. But when my parents moved and I bought the house here I went and took it, folded it up, and put it in the garage. And not even 15 minutes after I put it in the garage, my neighbors come over and go, "Me and Diane are so glad you got rid of that car seat. We just thought it looked so tacky." I was about ready to go in the garage and bring it right back out to the driveway.
That's what I would have done. I would have put it out front in the front yard there so everybody can see it with a sign saying "Welcome." Maybe you want to sit on it. That's all I live with in California is neighbors knocking at your door saying, I don't like those curtains in your window. Isn't it about time you get a new set?
Well, then don't look at my window.
Yeah, I know, right? Did I tell them don't look at my house? But I don't like nosy neighbors.
Yeah, that's the biggest issue I've had with Owen there. Because he we walk up to the doors, he kind of likes to look through the windows and stuff. I was like, "Owen, don't look through the windows. That's rude."
I haven't lived anywhere near California in 10 years, so
you're very lucky.
I'm hoping that you guys are exaggerating, but I'm
Minnesota.
That you are.
I'm Minnesota, so
I'm from Canada, so I'm taking your guys' word for it for sure.
Canada's the closest one to California out of all these
hey,
guys.
Nemesis, come
Oh
get your
God, I know.
Hey, Nemesis, come get your damn moose that's been wandering around the area.
What?
We got a moose that's been wandering around the area. Everybody posted pictures and everything of it.
I'm not getting anywhere near a fucking moose. What are you, nuts?
Why not? I would.
Oh, it's your funeral, bro. As a Canadian, I will strictly say no. I'm more scared of a moose than a bear.
So let me clarify, because I'm new. Well, basically, kind of new. Anyway, I don't really spend that much time on pop culture panels, but so the two of you are Canadians.
Hey,
one of us is Canadian.
Right, one Canadian, one Minnesotan.
Oh, Minnesota. That doesn't count as Canadian. They just have a weird accent.
Well,
you gonna take that, Gorilla? Come on, man, fight back.
I've never been to Arizona, but I'm willing to make a trip.
There you go.
At least you won't have to worry about the accents being all screwed up.
Right, Gorilla's from Minnesota, but his accent's not really that heavy and not noticeable. Sometimes he'll say certain words where you can tell what regions he's from. But he doesn't sound like somebody like from North Dakota extremely, I can't imitate how they sound. But anybody who's seen like the movie Fargo, that kind of thing,
you'll hear that's right. Yeah, exactly. That's from the movie Fargo. And
yes.
Honestly, if I just power up my accent for I don't know, 3 seconds, and
that's it. Tomorrow,
it's like you don't want your jaw to move that much.
Hey, tomorrow, you guys are bringing up Fargo and make fun of the accents and all that. Tomorrow, I'm gonna play and break down the song "I'm from Minnesota."
All right, and you're gonna follow it up by "It's Raining Men," right?
Nice.
Hey, Pop, I need 22 more subscribers for that.
I promise I will be there. I'm not going to be a backup singer, but I'll be there.
Yeah. I need 22 more subscribers, and I will sing It's Raining Men for you.
And now 24 until what? 400? 500? What?
600.
600. Now you're getting up there.
Congrats, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I should be keeping an eye on how many subs that you all have. I can't believe I don't even check my own. I never find out how many subs I have until somebody else tells me. I guess it's something I just don't usually pay attention to. Edge of Time says Crapple Tree. And Basil says they are correct when saying they are the manager. Yeah, when everybody says they're the manager, they're right. Yes. That's the problem is Mr. CCTV is when you say, I don't like to say, I don't know who the manager is there. But when I have been to the counter to, ask them why they overcharge me on items. And when I say, can I please speak to the manager? I've had 3 different people there tell me I'm the manager. So I kind of give up on that. Basil, whoever the manager is probably
They
in
may
some
very
office
well
somewhere.
they may very well have 3 managers. The problem with places like that is it's literally corporate owned. Like
Yes.
I cannot get hired at our Safeway. I cannot get hired at our Safeway. Although I most likely can't get hired at most of the restaurants in town either because I'm so unreliable as a restaurateur, kitchen guy.
Oh, because I think last month or the month before they had a Saturday where they were hiring. They had some lady sitting out on a table with applications and stuff.
Yeah, and they're so desperate for cooks. I probably could cook for any company in town right now. But I just started learning how to walk again. Damn. I
didn't know that.
No, my truck is far more important than being able to walk. So, but yeah, I could get hired. Most of the chefs in our little town know who I am, and they really want me on their staff because when I'm able and sober and complete, I'm able to do anything in the kitchen. That's
cool.
the biggest problem is that I can't walk right now. Although I'm actually walking fairly well right now. It'll take me a couple more months to be able to stand on my ankles legitimately for hours at a time.
Yeah, you want to take your time.
Sense.
Exactly. Teeny tiny steps. But you're making the journey, which is the biggest part.
When I broke my ankle 14 years ago, I was still active duty Army. And so they gave me all the leeway I needed.
The same ankle?
Yeah. No, different ankle. Yeah. So, yeah, unfortunately, I have, well, the first broken ankle was remodeled a long time ago. So, yeah, technically I can walk on my right ankle, and I have been for the last few months. Been walking on my right ankle, and that hurts. It hurts a lot. But this new break, apparently I got my other 2 roommates out early enough in order to get the truck up off my leg and the 911 call. I believe Pop Culture made that 911 call.
Yeah, you know what? And I was surprised for a small town. They were here fast. So I'm really happy about that.
So,
fast you
My
can go.
roommates took care of me.
It's amazing how fast you can go when you got no traffic and no calls.
Well, yeah,
It
you're right
is
about
pretty
that.
impressive. And they gave me some really good drugs while I was in the ambulance, too.
Oh, I didn't know they could do that. Oh, very cool. No, I was wondering about that. I thought you had to wait till you got to the hospital before they gave you
Oh, no, they
painkillers.
gave me some really good drugs. Even before they got me on the gurney into the ambulance, they
Yeah.
gave me some
I was kind of
really good
surprised.
drugs.
Good.
Still call ahead and like, oh, sorry, Gorilla, go ahead.
I was kind of surprised because after Michael Jackson overdosed and they started clamping down on these doctors left and right, like for me to even get any damn painkillers, I had to act like I was fucking dying when I went to the
Now,
hospital with some severe pain.
I suspect, and again, this is a suspicion, that most doctors and nurse practitioners who are allowed to give prescriptions were like, "Oh, what are we going to do with this guy?"
Wow.
But
Hey,
yeah,
Daniel.
as soon as I got
Hello,
into the
Daniel.
Hey,
emergency
Daniel.
room, as soon as I got into the emergency room, they contacted the orthopedic surgeon, and he was like, "Yeah, give him drugs right now." And
God.
I actually had that argument. I was like, "No, I don't want to be on drugs because I was addicted to Percocet for 5 years. I'm addicted to Percocet," and they said, "Well, we're gonna give you anyway."
Yeah, well, it looked pretty nasty, so I can understand that. If you ever been, I know all you guys weren't there, but you could tell it looked pretty bad, and it was bleeding and everything. So, no, I'm sure pain had to be the top priority, trying to get rid of that and alleviate it somehow. I couldn't imagine I've never had something like that happen before, but
Yeah, well, it's taken me about 90 days to get off of the Percocet, so I'm not happy about that, but at least I was able to get off the Percocet. I'm still drinking like a madman.
well, whatever hell takes that pain away. Basil says there are various managers in a grocery store. Front end manager, grocery manager, produce manager, drug manager, deli, bakery, then the store general manager. So that's my mistake. Okay. I should ask for the store general manager. Okay. Next time they
Yeah,
say
the
to the
general
manager.
manager, the center manager.
Okay, fair enough. That's the okay.
You want the big top one if you want to stop dealing with bullshit. I'm assuming.
Ola Greg says here in Houston, I get chicken legs for 49 cents a pound. Well, that is cheap. And T-bones, wow, $4.99. Jeez. And Texas
Mm.
will secede before we become California. What? It's too late now. You guys have got so many Californians moving in there, and that have already moved in there. And with that border wide open, I think it's a little too late. But I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Ola Greg.
It'll take a couple of decades for California, or for Texas to turn into a California type state.
Yeah,
Uh,
you'll know when they come
I
for your guns.
I moved here from Los Angeles in 1993, and so it's been 30 years, and Arizona is still a fairly conservative and you know, like not crazy state. Although we're getting there because now we've got the second migration from California.
Yes.
And so it will probably turn into a nightmare place to be, except that I live up in a tiny mountain town. Flagstaff will probably fall to the
That doesn't make sense. So they're probably taking
California
over.
concept.
Right, so it's creeping up from south up heading up north, right? Like it's going through Phoenix and all that first.
It'll go through west before it goes through east, because you've got Utah in the way, and Utah is literally Mormon country, and so
Yes.
it'll be far more difficult to get California concepts through Utah than it will be through get California through concepts through Arizona.
That's what I thought.
They're just going to go around Utah.
Yeah, that's why I thought that they'd be coming up through the south.
Problem
Uptown
is, you got the
tomorrow.
Grand Canyon in the way.
That helps. Now we just need to build a wall.
That does help, actually. Believe it or not. I am conservative, and I do like things the way they used to be.
California used to be somewhat like that, but I was a little kid. But that's long ago in the past. Basil says when you talk to them,
Don't worry about it.
no, it's nice here. That's what I've been telling everybody. I like it here. It's a breath of fresh air. Getting away from all that horrible politics is great. Basil says when you talk to the employee at the courtesy booth / customer service, tell them you want to talk to the general store manager. Okay, we'll do. And Basil says I worked for a retail marketing company in grocery stores in Houston and had to learn the various ins and outs of the grocery business. It's pretty interesting. Yeah, and I don't have any experience in that department. Same as like like Mr. CCTV and I don't have all the experience he does in the kitchen. Just cooking, like cooking, I just know the basics from life experience, but I've never been to culinary school like he has. Basil Battle Dragon says, "Don't be fooled by the bakery. These clowns won't make much of anything at the store. 99.9% of bakery goods come from a third party. Some things are shipped raw and then baked in the store." Yeah, like I know they probably do like the chicken, stuff like that. Maybe chicken fingers but yeah, you're right. I know a lot of the stuff comes boxed already made, especially the bakery, donuts, cakes, and things like that. I'm sure.
This is a little bit embarrassing for me to say at this point. However, 3 years ago, I asked the Safeway baker manager for their sourdough starter, and they make sourdough breads and sourdough loaves and sourdough sliced loaves and things like that. So those are all in the fresh bakery aisle in our Safeway. I asked them for their sourdough starter, and they said they use a package.
Oh yeah, I'm not surprised.
And I said, well, I don't need to buy the package. I can literally just wait 1 week and have better sourdough than you do.
I know you're right. They're going to go the easy route.
What in the world is happening in this world of ours right now? But yes, I did eventually do that. And yes,
Well, it's like when was the last time you were in a restaurant and you ordered mashed potatoes and they actually are from fresh mashed potatoes and not powdered? I think for me it's been decades.
So, well, obviously we've got like 4 pounds of potatoes in our pantry that needs to be get rid of because they are molding everything.
I've got some in there. I'm sure I've got to get rid of. I was just thinking about that the other day.
The restaurants around here are actual potatoes.
You sure about
How
that?
you doing today, Daniel, by the way?
Yeah, sorry, Daniel. I know we haven't been giving you much chance to talk. How you doing there?
Yeah, I feel a little better, thanks.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. Glad you could join us. I know we're talking about it, mostly food tonight, which is well. Basically, I guess it's good to have a little change of topics for a change.
It's off the rails.
That's the whole point. That's why, because usually when I have my Lost in Space and Gilligan's Island, we usually stick to those. But that's the reason why I have this rumbling stream. Because usually the topic can go anywhere, and I like that. It gives everybody a chance to throw in whatever they want.
And that's why I like going with your off the rails streams. They're actually pretty entertaining.
Definitely right. Definitely not as boring and rigid as some of the others. Even some of the people prefer these because I let the language go a little more. When I do my Gilligan's Island and my Lost in Space, I usually try to keep the language like G-rated, PG.
Yeah. Well, I don't
the
know
horse stream is allowed to swear though.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Mostly from you, Nemesis.
But pardon me. I mean, if it is a problem, I can try and calm it down. But that is who I am.
It's an observation. It's an
You know what? That's fair. Thank you, Gorilla. Like, hey, if no one tells me, how am I supposed to know?
Yeah, and plus, if you think the sorting bothers me, you haven't been on some of my streams.
Well, yeah. I mean, all the ones that I pop in on, you're either like doing a watch stream and you guys are just like watching, or like you're playing games and like
No,
either
the
kicking
Walton
ass or getting
streams
your
are
ass
actually
kicked. There's
stream.
there's no in between.
Well, no, the Walton stream we're actually reviewing it, and there's a reason I had Bird make me
Gorilla,
this.
you must be talking out your ass because I know your mouth knows better. Gorilla, you must be talking.
Oh, loop.
You
No,
need to
but
see if you can adjust the volume on that on Gorilla.
I have to talk to LDG because Bird sent it to me through Discord and all that. He was kind of
I can do it if you need to. If you want to send it to me, I can boost the volume.
Okay.
And I can send it back to you. I've got a video editor.
Oh shoot! I didn't get back in time to look at that copyright claim for you.
Oh, that's okay. There's no hurry. Yeah, I believe it. It's for that Angelica Gonzalez stream where Ginger was a psychic. Can you believe that? And I didn't even show it. I thought when I first got the warning, I thought it was for the episode of the second one after that because it seems like we showed more clips from the second episode.
No, wait.
No.
Was it the one with the earthquake part?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if it was that particular scene, but that was the episode they complained about. You think that was the scene they did it?
Scene because we're going back and forth discussing how they did the earthquake scene.
Well, I know, but I thought about that too. But what the complaint says is that I showed the complete episode. Like I showed Doc, I just hit play at the beginning and played the whole episode. That's what the complaint said. I was like, what? So if anything, you would think, what's that?
That don't make sense.
That's what I thought. Because if
We
anything,
talked a lot during that one.
We talked a lot, and that clip was like maybe 3 seconds at the most, and we played the clip over and over. So that's not like taking an episode and just playing it from beginning to end. We were examining a scene. So I think maybe when we file, what do they call it? An appeal. We'll tell them, say we were examining it. You know the wording and the verbiage better than I do.
Yeah,
but
that's why I'll take that. Yeah, once I see what they claimed, I'll be able to tell you exactly what to tell them there. Because Warner Brothers, they'll clip a scene. That's why I do every 10 seconds, and I don't read the actual much of the text that's on the screen unless it's relative. That's why I play the clips there. But then I pause them a lot to discuss what's going on in that scene that I want to show. Because then but as much shit as I give Warner's Brothers, they're actually been pretty good. They claim me every week, but they release it after the longest I've had to wait was 8 hours.
Nice, yeah, and I've only had CBS. I think there was only, once or twice now that I've appealed and they didn't overturn the appeal. I don't know if it's called overturn or not, but
yeah,
this one we'll try, but I don't know if it's gonna work.
I learned how to word it, and what they're gonna wait out to 30 days. CBS, if they feel like they don't have a case, they'll just let it sit for 30 days and let it expire. I've had that with multiple people have had to deal with them on that. They're
Okay,
the worst.
Do you have a stream tomorrow?
Yes, I'm gonna have 2 streams tomorrow.
But we can try to squeeze it in somewhere in between those or something.
I can switch it in after breakfast tomorrow. I got to go over to. We're going over to Empress to eat breakfast with my parents.
Ooh, that sounds yummy. I'm sure Mom's a good cook, huh?
No, we're going over to a restaurant.
Oh, okay, even better. Yeah, hit me up. I'm not doing anything tomorrow, so yeah, and it shouldn't take us long because you already know what to say and everything. And you saw that screenshot I sent you. There's I think just a couple scenes they have issues with.
Oh, so they didn't clip the whole thing. They just clipped a couple scenes that we. And I bet you one of them was that earthquake one we played over and over again, trying to figure out when I was asking questions on that, on how they were doing that stuff.
Yeah, I know, but I thought maybe it's me, but I thought when we showed the second episode, I thought we showed more clips of the second one because we
No,
were having
no,
a really
no.
good time on that.
No,
But I
we
guess you're right. Maybe it was the first one. And we're talking about a show that's what 50 years old. And Basil says, but it's not fresh. Speaking of the bakery, Ole Greg says Basil wears a dragon head during his videos and streams. Well, I need to definitely check that out then. And check out Sean Carter's channel, everybody. The sci-fi model guy did some fantastic work.
I'm sorry for interrupting you, but somebody said that something doesn't sound better when it's baked the next day.
I get that. If that's one of the chats, I'll get there here. They're probably talking like day old bakeries. I used to when I was poor, I used to live off the day old bakeries because they were cheaper. Jim says, "Hail, pop culture curator. This is invoice week for me, Moe. Customers not streaming, but not set in the store. Okay, gotcha. I understand. That's why you've been busy. Yes, sir. Well, I'll be keeping an eye out for your next streams, Jim." And Basil says Kroger and Randall's / Safeway buy very little seafood harvested in the U.S. waters. They get huge amounts from Asian countries like Vietnam, Thailand, etc. You know, that might be Basil. That might be a good option because a lot of the seafood coming from California has been irradiated because of the Fukushima, Japan incident. At this point, they're still eating it, but they're getting to where they're slowly warning people more and more. But I stopped eating seafood when I was in California a few years ago because of that problem. And Basil says, "What's that?"
I catch my own.
Well, where you're at, the water's still clean. But like in California, it doesn't matter. I can go catch my own, but it's still water from Japan. Basil Battle Dragon says, in meat and seafood, Kroger used to have a policy that all products dated with today's date had to be sold or pulled out of the floor coolers and freezers at 4 p.m. and marked down. Wow, they don't do that anymore. I'll see stuff marked down, but it's usually like a week old or more. Basil Battle Dragon says, I used to do spot audits and catch huge amounts of meat and seafood that were days old. I scanned it into my handheld scanner as expired and tossed it in a shopping cart and handed it off to the store manager. Sometimes it was a small amount, but 90% of the time it was hundreds of dollars in merchandise that had to be thrown in the dumpster. Well, better safe than sorry, and I'm glad you did that. But they do have this manager special, which is good. Sometimes I will check it out if there's a little bit older meat because you'll save like 30% off. And Suzanne says, Mr. CCTV, hello.
Yeah. Hey, we're calling you that now. You're CCTV now.
Oh, CCTV.
I'm fully aware of how people mispronounce my name. I'm not worried about it.
Well, when they hear CC, they'll think a closed caption, probably. I'm guessing.
Closed cap. That's your
closed circuit.
Cameras.
Closed circuit. Closed caption. Closed circuit.
Closed circuit surveillance.
Oh, okay. Conservative Christian disabled veteran.
Get that straight, everybody. There should be a way. I thought, didn't they have it where you could put like a little headline under your name on this StreamYard?
The headline that I have under my name is I don't know.
No,
it doesn't. Yeah.
It's only your names only show up when there's no chats up on the screen. Like if you take the chat off, the names will pop back up.
The bottom name will show up when you have no other. Yeah, you're right.
Well, Greg says imitation Asian crab meat is yummy, and that I have not had. Basil says a big loss for the store. They would get a call from the corporate office a few days later, demanding an explanation as to why so much outdated food was not pulled before the deadline. Well, they're definitely not that anymore. Now they just want to push it out no matter what. Everything's about loss, it seems like. And Suzanne says
there's a lot of reason that I don't get my very favorite
come on, Juju.
Use it for barbecue seasoning and everything. Chili powder. The reason I don't get my favorite chili powder in our Safeway is because they don't sell enough of it. It's not popular enough. It's super popular in Texas, so any Safeway I go to in Texas has that brand of chili powder, but the one I get here I can't get, so I have to order it online. That makes sense? Did I make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. What kind is it?
Gebhardt's. And
I've heard of the brand before.
it's a very Texas chili powder, but it's the chili powder I grew up with, and I love it.
Well, I'll take your word for it. I'm sure it is good. So I guess here it's probably mostly like Nor brand, this like McCormick and the big corporation.
The closest you can get is the McCormick organic McCormick chili powder. That's the closest you can get to McCormick's chili powder.
Gotcha. And of course, with that label organic, it means you're going to be paying extra.
Of course, you're going to be paying extra because of the label organic. Drives me absolutely crazy because they get it out of the same goddamn farm field.
You're right. It's the same with lettuce and everything else, of course. Eggs, all of it.
Jesus.
Well, looks like we got dueling banjos.
Sorry.
I know, right?
I had to say a cuss word. I had to.
Oh no, it's okay. There's no. I don't have any limit on cuss words on this stream. Suzanne Eckstein says this is the link to the Give and Go. Any help is appreciated. Yes, everybody. Suzanne has a fundraiser going on. Please help her out if you can.
Yeah, definitely.
And yeah, definitely shout out for that. She's very sweet, very nice person.
Yeah, Suzanne's awesome.
Edge of Time says, I hope I say this right. Fabucks. Bug a bunch of California shit. Yes, I second that. Basil Battle Dragon says, hey,
Greg.
Right.
Take a vote. Exile California.
Yeah, somehow do like Lex Luthor and Superman and break it off to where, maybe it'll drift out into the ocean or something.
Hey, Pop.
Yes.
I got a movie that you'd really appreciate then.
Oh, really? What's that?
It's called 10.5.
Oh, I haven't heard of that one. Remind me about that.
Yes, it's about an earthquake that's 10.5 on the Richter scale. It's so big that it separates California off.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. Fuck, I knew it.
Very
Jeez,
cool.
I'm good.
Well, they tried to stop it. They go to try to stop it with, I don't know if I should spoil it.
No, don't spoil it. No.
Send me that name on Twitter, Gorilla. Otherwise, I'll forget. And I'll see if I can track it down and see it. That sounds like my kind of movie.
Oh, dude, me too. I kind of want to. I'd watch it. I'd totally watch that. Dude, have you seen Rubber?
Oh yeah, about the killer tire.
Yeah, dude, it has telekinesis and just kind of wobbles at people and their heads explode and shit.
We should do that maybe on our. We should do our horror stream nemesis maybe on April Fools or something. We'll do Rubber.
Oh my God, that would be amazing! Yes.
Yeah, I know it would. Hopefully, I'll still be around by next April. But yeah, I would love to do Rubber.
Yeah, dude, fingers crossed.
Yep. Well, I am feeling better now, so I think I've got a little more positive outlook than I did last month. Basil Battle Dragon says, "Hey, Greg, that reminds me of our old buddy Junior. He loved beef togne, but I got a tongue." Daniel, unfortunately, there he is. Daniel says, "Hello, Papa. We haven't been hearing him much on the stream tonight. I hope you're doing okay, Daniel."
Right on. Hot topics. Yeah, been a while since I talked to hot topics.
Edge of Time. Just swallow the liver raw and still wiggling. That's how I roll. I guarantee you I would be upchucking it. I don't think I could eat anything. It's still moving.
Oh, dude, you got to be a man and eat it raw. Be like the Liver King, rah, rah, rah.
I've seen the videos where people, like in Japan, eat raw. Was this squid and stuff while it's still moving? It's like, oh my God. I give
sashimi?
Is that still alive?
Yeah. Well, it's they kill it in front of you, so it's the freshest meat you can possibly have. I don't like it.
I've seen where they eat.
Sashimi is, absolutely the freshest you could possibly get is sashimi. Yeah.
No, I've seen them eat like squid, or I don't know if it's squid or octopus, but I've seen them eat it where they're still alive. The tentacles are moving and everything.
Oh yeah, where they like literally swallow the little baby octopus whole, and
Yes.
and it's on like a stick or whatnot. I don't know what that's called, and I've only ever seen it in like TV shows. I don't know if that's a real thing or not.
I think it is because I've seen it around for a
It
long
is a
time.
real thing. It's just a weird thing.
That's
It's
just
not.
I don't know, dude.
Yeah.
Like the thought of putting a live creature into a vat of acid to just let it dissolve that way is fucked up to me.
Do
like
they
that.
swallow it whole? Do they swallow it whole where the stomach acid kills it, or do they chew it and then swallow it?
No, well, you got to swallow it whole, otherwise the tentacles would like unwrap and like stick to your esophagus and whatnot.
Oh, good. Just thinking about it, it's like, okay, then maybe I'll eat tomorrow or the next day.
Dude, right? I mean, yeah.
I can't even eat I won't even eat oyster or any of that stuff. I know people eat oyster and clam. It's like, nah.
Oyster,
my brother loves that stuff, and it's just no, thank you.
Oyster and clam is basic. Yeah, every restaurant that's anywhere near a coast can do that.
I know. Yes, Gorilla?
I'm gonna put the link in our streaming group there, and I'll put it in the regular chat. But it's
Twitter. Put it in Twitter. Just remember our chat. Put it in the Twitter because our chat our chat disappears after the stream. So if you can send it to me on Twitter, I appreciate it.
Yeah, they split it up into 2 parts. I'm putting part 1 there. And you'll be able to find part 2 also on YouTube.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Basil
and send it to me, Pop.
Okay, yeah, definitely. Maybe we'll do a watch party. We'll cover that.
Yeah.
Basil says you need it. What's that?
Well, I'd say would this count as horror? But really, is it really that much of a horror watching California get sucked into the Pacific Ocean?
I consider that a comedy. I'd be laughing all the way through it, cheering it on. Basil says you need a certain amount of fat to keep moisture in the meat when you cook it, and it adds flavor to the meat. Definitely.
Oh, dude, you need fat and it makes it tender. Anyways.
That's what makes bison so hard to cook. Bison's really hard to cook.
That I had not had.
Well, and that's funny because you were mentioning heart steak earlier in the stream, and I've had deer heart steak, so venison heart steak, I guess.
Did you like it?
But it was overcooked and almost inedible.
And so chewy.
Oh, dude, it was awful. I was just like,
that muscle works way too hard to be a really chewy piece of steak.
Well, when I cook beef heart, I got to cook it a while. So yeah, it's the same deal. It's kind of like chuck roast. I cook it until it's almost
12 hours. Yeah, 12 hours.
I'm almost wondering what it would be like in an Instapot.
Yeah, pressure cooker that helps, something like that.
Actually, I actually do have a Ninja Instapot or
Instapot.
Well, it's not an Instapot, but it's the same thing. It's a pressure
like a crock pot.
And it only takes 2 hours to do. But if you really, really want to do a really good stewed meat, then you got to do it in a slow cooker for 12 hours. But you can simulate the flavor in 2 hours if you do it in a pressure cooker.
Yeah, that's what I like about them. And Suzanne says, Daniel, hello. And Daniel says, hi, Suzanne. Hope you had a great day. And Suzanne says, Daniel, so far it's been great. Thanks. That's excellent to hear, Suzanne. And Basil says, if I can get my thing to work here. What's really delaying tonight? I hope I'm pronouncing this right. Gyros? Gyros?
Euros.
Yeah.
So my whole life I've been pronouncing it wrong because I've been thinking of it like a gyro. So that's what I do.
Yeah, like a gyroscope. For sure, bro. Right. Totally.
Euros in Greek, shawarma in Arabic. It's lamb, beef, onions, potatoes, salt, pepper, cumin, garlic, and other herbs. It's delicious. It sounds like
unbelievable. It is. You will not believe this, but gyros and Turkish pizza, which is what shawarma basically is, are totally different because they don't use the tzatziki sauce in shawarma. They do not use the tzatziki sauce, which is a yogurt sauce. They do not use that in gyros. They use a I can't remember the spices right off the top of my head. I wish I could. But yeah,
Tzatziki
it's
sauce.
totally different. Totally different from gyro or from. Okay, gyros are Greek and they taste fantastic, but shawarma is a. It's more of a red sauce, and I can't think of the pepper they use for the red sauce. But it's not a Greek sauce. It's not a yogurt based sauce. So gyros you get a yogurt based sauce, and shawarma you get a tomato based sauce. I don't know if that makes any difference to you guys or not.
Well, for me, it's all new, but it sounds interesting. I hadn't heard of that before. Yogurt sauce.
Yeah, the Greeks used the yogurt, and the Arabics, well, the Arabic, it's lamb, beef, and yeah, exactly, onions, potatoes, etc. Whatever you can line up on a skewer, basically, you skewer it, and then you turn it around a campfire, and you cut off bits of it that are cooked. That's the same thing as a gyro, because you cook off or you cut off the bits that are cooked, and you let the bits inside cook more. So it's the same thing in a gyro as it is in a shawarma, except the sauce is different.
What do you do with the bits you cut off? You discard them or do you keep them?
What are you talking about? The bits you cut off are the ones that are falling into the taco.
Oh, I see. Okay, gotcha. Okay, I thought you meant during the cooking process. Sorry about that.
Oh God, no! Oh, you don't throw away those bits. Oh my God, those are the best bits. They're the ones that have all the browning and all the cooked bits of meat that just crunch in your mouth, and you go, "Oh my God, this is so good."
I need to try that sometime. What kind of restaurant do you find that at? A Greek restaurant?
Well, I haven't found one since I left Germany, so I can't tell you.
I guess I can just dream about it then. Basil says the sauce is awesome. My mom and grandmother used to make homemade yogurt regularly. It's easy but takes a while. You boil whole milk, not low fat, and you skim the whey off the top. Yeah, I know there's a way of doing it. I've seen videos on YouTube where they make their own yogurt and butter and stuff.
And it tastes so good, especially when you can just drop those herbs into the boiling milk. You're going to get 1/4 of a cup out of a gallon of milk. You're going to get 1/4 of a cup out of a gallon of milk. But it is so good.
Compared to a store-bought, obviously.
It is so good when you do it right.
It does sound like it. Basil says, but
I'm going to go to bed. You guys
all right, well, thanks for hanging out with us, Gorilla. I'll talk to you tomorrow, okay?
Yeah, we'll see y'all tomorrow.
Have a good night's sleep, dude.
Yeah, well.
Oh, wait, Gorilla, plug your channel real quick before you leave.
Tomorrow we're doing a rewatch. PvP's never seen Loon Lake. We are rewatching Loon Lake. That's the only film filmed in my hometown. So if anybody's interested in that, I'll have a bunch of little tidbits for that.
What time is that going to be?
7:00.
7 Central Time. PM.
Yep.
Okay.
Next week's The Waltons will probably be about 8:00. I'm going to try to watch that episode during the day there, but there won't be any Justified or anything. And then tomorrow I'm going to do a breakdown of the song I'm From Minnesota, because you guys are all making fun of my accent here. So,
well, and plus you got some great shorts. I like those cooking shorts that what you posted yesterday looked delicious. I wish I would have been there for that.
Yesterday.
Wasn't it yesterday where it was like chicken or something that you basted in the or that you
Oh yeah. I get these marinade bags from Walmart for like
All right, hold
$2.50.
on. I'm jealous. You said you got a bake from Walmart. I'm
Marinade bag.
thinking to myself. I said I could cook a hell of a lot better than anybody from Walmart. I think there should be a
No, it's a
challenge.
marinade in a
A
bag.
challenge.
No, it's a marinade in a bag. You just put the food in there and then put it in the fridge for overnight.
I've never seen those before. I don't know if they have them here or not, but I don't go to Walmart very often.
Are you kidding me? You've gone to Safeway and gotten the chickens, the roasted chickens from Walmart. You've gotten them. I know. They're in the refrigerator still, by the
No,
way.
no, but yeah, but I know what I'm saying is he gets these bags that have these different flavored marinades. I would like to try that sometime. I've never seen those.
What I'm saying is we need to have a cook-off, a challenge,
Well, I'm gonna
so
lose.
to speak.
I will definitely. I'll lose. I'm like I said. I only know from experience. I haven't been to school like you have.
Well, here, Pop, I'll send you the stuffed pasta shells one that pretty much has the recipe on it, and the description has the baking instructions in it. I'll send you the stuffed pasta shells recipe for Mr. You can show Mr. CCTV.
There you go. We're doing YouTube challenges from now on.
Cook off. That's
what
it.
we're doing.
YouTube cook off, right? And we can have like dual streaming on both of our channels at the same time or something like that.
Exactly, yes.
Well, there's a way to do that because I could simulcast. I'm not sure if you can do that on yours.
Yeah, there's some way in StreamYards you can stream. I don't know how many channels, but I know you can do at least 2. But spoilers, everybody. I'm gonna lose. Like I said, I don't have the experience he does.
I've still got 2 dozen apples, and whatever is left on my friend's apple tree, and we can go to Phoenix and get even more apples. We could load up the back of my truck with apples and bring them back up here, and we can peel them. And we can cook them down, and we can make them into anything that I want to. So I'm issuing this challenge right now. Anybody who thinks they can make better apple pie or apple bread than I can, let's go ahead and go head to head.
I know I definitely cannot.
Mr. PvP, or CCDV, I got
we lost Daniel. I hope you can come back, Daniel.
Yeah, here's the thing. I have to like apple pie first.
You don't like apple pie?
Oh, ouch. Okay, fair enough. If you don't like apple jellies, and you don't like apple jam, and you don't like apple butter, and you don't like apple pies, then
I like apple jam, but I'm just not a big apple pie fan. There's only 2 pies I really eat, and one's a pumpkin pie, and the other one's the French silk pie.
Oh, the French silk pie. Oh my God. Oh, that is so good.
Yeah. But Pop, for the simulcasting there, it's under invite. You got it turned off here.
Oh, well, maybe tomorrow we'll go over that. You can show me.
Okay.
I had no idea that we were actually scheduling something like that.
Neither did I. But if it's, I didn't know that either. But if it's something
I challenge you, just need to. I challenge, and so you need to let me know the date and time.
Well, I know, but I can't. I don't have the skills you do. But I do. If there's any part of StreamYards I don't know, I do want to learn how to use it.
Yeah, it's just under invite. That's all you have to do. But I'm gonna go take a shower because this hair that these little pieces of hair my sister left on me is starting to annoy the crap out of me. So I got to shower, then I'm going to go to bed.
All right, Gorilla, and I'll see you tomorrow. I appreciate you hanging out.
Yep. Bye.
Take care. Basil says, but it's brought to a boil. I think he's still talking about the yogurt. Slowly. They would have a small amount of yogurt in the last batch.
Never, ever. No. There is no heat applied to yogurt. I'm sorry. If you buy store-bought yogurt and you have to apply the heat to it in order to get it to be Greek yogurt, then you failed in one of the key processes.
Well, when you were talking about the milk and a gallon condensing down to a smaller amount, how do you do it that way?
It's all evaporation, and you really need to have the right uh, uh, germs in it.
Oh, okay.
When I pickle things, I have to have the right germs in them. When I jar things, I want to kill every germ that exists. But when I pickle things, I want the right germs to exist. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Did I say that right? Okay.
Yeah,
So
makes sense.
when I'm making yogurt, I want the right germs to exist. And if you boil whole milk, even pasteurized whole milk, when you boil it, you're going to get all those solids on the top. That's the biggest problem with making homemade yogurt. You do not want to boil that. You want to put it into, well, back in the day, they used skins, but in our day, we can use cheesecloth. And so you use cheesecloth and you squeeze it out and you get all the moisture out. And then you set it in the refrigerator for 3 days. And then you bring it out and you squeeze all the moisture out and you put it in the refrigerator for 3 days. And then you bring it out and you squeeze it out. And then you have yogurt.
Okay, that's cool.
Versus industrialized yogurt, which is everybody's favorite thing to go to, is like
it's easy.
Industrialized yogurt. Obviously, it's yogurt. It's easy and it's yogurt and it's got the right germs and everything to make it into a thick pasteurized thing that you can just spread on your toast. It's not yogurt.
That makes sense. Obviously, like me, I'm ignorant to all that, so I wouldn't know any better. So I would be buying the store-bought stuff.
Sorry about that. I
appreciate it. I like any input. I like input from. No, I enjoy it. I like input from people who know better. I like to be corrected and be knowledgeable, up to date with what's going on from the experts. But it's brought to a boil slowly. They would save a small amount of yogurt from the last batch, or get some from my aunt or cousin, and then stir it into the pot slowly and gentle. And Basil says then pour it into jars and cover with a heavy towel to keep it warm and let it sit overnight. Then the next day, if it's set firm, then move it to the fridge but keep it covered. Okay, that sounds like what Mr. CCTV said. Kind of.
Well, kind of. No, not quite the same. But yeah, absolutely. And these methods are absolutely fantastic and they work too. My biggest problem is that I don't have any kids live with me anymore, so I don't make cottage cheese and I don't make cheeses and I don't make sour cream or anything like that anymore. I used to. So a lot of the how-to has left my brain.
Well, it just takes practice. You kind of fall out of it. I'm sure once you did it again, it'd come back into habit. Basil says the next day or two, it should be ready to eat. Generally, the longer it sits out before it's put in the fridge, the more tart it gets.
That is true, actually, because the bacteria actually destroy the viruses. And so if you leave it on the counter for a day, it actually becomes more potent. And then you put it in the refrigerator and the viruses are all gone, but the bacteria are still eating. And so they actually create a better flavor.
Interesting. That's very cool. Yes, that's correct. They all merged, says Basil. And Basil says, you're right, because you won't save any money driving to Flagstaff. Yeah, unfortunately, like you said, it's over 30 miles away. And Suzanne says, Gorilla, good night, dear. Basil says, hey, Gorilla, good to hear from you. Yes, it is always good to hear from Gorilla. And Jim says, I'm a hardcore Star Trek Trekkie and love and watch all Star Trek shows and movies and fan films. Yeah, Jim, you're a little more hardcore than I am. I'm strictly TOS. I didn't like TNG. Well, TNG for me was like 50% Trek, and I just cut it off after that. I didn't like everything.
Oh, come
past it.
on
I
now.
know that sounds. I know people are gonna.
You
kill
and
me.
I are of the same age. So
I'm older.
TOS is what we grew up on, and all of us. Please tell me that you were wondering who is Spock, who is Kirk, who is Uhura. Please tell me you were thinking that when the Next Generation was coming out.
Of course, absolutely. I was
We
like, "Where's
all
Kirk?"
were. I was
Where's
absolutely.
Yeah, I was like, "Where's Kirk?" And it's like, well, they split him into two, and we got Picard
We
and Riker.
did. We got number one with Riker, and we got Captain Picard with Picard, of course.
Right, we got
And
no
then
Bones, no Doctor McCoy.
everybody was like, "Oh, that's Data, or that's Spock."
Right, Data's like the cheap knockoff of Spock, but you're right. Yeah, exactly. I was very hesitant. I did watch TNG every episode when it first aired, but it's not something I would go back and revisit. I was like, yeah, I'm sure there's a few good episodes. The one with Scotty, of course, I'm going to mention, but
Well,
I could not sit through another TNG episode again.
I
think it
have
was
to
like
be honest with you, and pop culture curator. This is serious. I went back through those old episodes while I had no choice but to put my foot up. You know,
right,
like,
play your time
I
on your
could keep
hands.
my foot up above my heart. So I had absolutely no choice but to go back and watch stuff that I used to love. And I
Right.
still love it. I still love it all.
What part? You mean TOS or TNG?
Both
Both.
TOS and TNG. I still can't stand Voyager to this day. I cannot stand.
Well, I agree with you on that. I don't like it either, especially the lady that plays the captain. Her voice, I can't do it.
I don't know why. I've watched every single episode of Voyager, but I can't stand it. It's like, oh, just kill the Borg or just go home. One or the other, please. One or the other. No, you had to kill the Borg and then go home and then come back and kill the Borg again and then go. Oh, I give up. I'm done. I'm done.
See, that's what I felt after TNG. It's like, I don't know. For me, and I know that I'm not, this is not a popular opinion, so don't shoot me now, guys, but I thought TOS was 100% Trek. I thought TNG was 50% Trek. And then everything after that was 50%, 50%, and 50% to where it's not really Trek anymore.
You got down to basically what we have now, which is like 0.09%.
Or negative. It's negative, right? Negative 5,000 Trek.
We have no Trek anymore.
No, it's Discovery is what it is now. It's like, yeah, the minerals related to the background, and they're called punching bags. And,
Now,
and
honestly,
the ships are all a bunch of feminists.
Lower Decks is more Star Trek than anything else that Kurtzman has ever put out. But yeah, Lower Decks is closest to Star Trek that we've ever had.
Sad, and it's a cartoon. We'll never get a live action good Trek again.
They actually had a live action crossover episode.
Yeah, somebody mentioned that. I heard that on one of the new was it Strange New Worlds?
And it was funny as hell. It was on Strange New Worlds. Yes, it was.
That's one with the cat.
Funny as hell. It had both Boimler and what's her name? Mariner. Yeah,
I'm surprised I know the name.
Boimler and Mariner on Strange New Worlds. Yeah, it was a funny episode.
Yeah, I'm surprised I know her name. I've never watched the show, but I've heard I've heard about that episode where there was a crossover. I think it was just not too long ago, right? Maybe a month or so. And I know I heard they had a
May have
musical.
been. I don't know. I've been smoking a lot of pot lately
I give you credit for that.
because it's legal here.
Yes, it is. Take advantage of it while we can.
So I've been smoking a lot of pot lately. I'm not absolutely sure, but I do believe it may have been a month ago or maybe 2 months ago. But yeah, that was a great episode. I thought it was a great episode of it's
Strange New Worlds.
Strange New Worlds. Yeah. I'm
I
not
can-
doing a whole lot of videos lately because I'm not thinking straight these days.
That's all right. Battle says, talk about funky accents. Try to understand a Cajun from Louisiana, haha, or a redneck from deep East Texas. No, you want to talk about a redneck. I had a job that sent me out to, I worked in the Bible Belt for a couple of years. And no, redneck accent, we're talking Arkansas, Mississippi, that kind of stuff. That's where they can't even put one sentence together and everybody's been to do something.
So yeah, everybody's been to. Hey, we've been to go here. Oh, by the way, we're fixing to.
Fixing. Everything's well, some of them can't even get as far as fixing. Yeah, some of them can't even say fixing. It's been. I'm fin to go here. It's like, okay.
We're finna go here.
Yeah, I know. It's like because they can't say getting ready to.
It's finna.
Right. And getting ready to is not even part of their vocabulary. They're like, what does that mean?
Oh no. Well, oh no, we're getting ready. Yeah.
Right. No, it's like and no, it drive me crazy when I was there. And then not only that, because I'm from California, they would say, "Can you talk slower? Can you slow down? We don't understand what you're saying." I'm like, oh, good God.
I always had the problem of people from other parts of the country going, I'm sorry, I don't understand what you're saying. Well, I actually elucidated. And they go, elucid?
Lucy? All right. Right. I never met, and I mean, no offense to anybody out there listening. I mean, personally, no offense. We're just joking, but I never met anybody that could complete a sentence, that could actually spell on paper or pronounce or speak a sentence. I never did.
Well, you lived most of your life in California.
Yeah, I'm really good at the English language.
At this point, have lived most of my life not only in Arizona but in a whole bunch of different places in the world. So when I say elucidate, you understand that I'm saying a word that you don't ever have heard before. But you know that I'm sincere and I know what I'm talking about when I say elucidate. So, California, what shall we say about that state? It's a horrible place to live. It's a horrible place to think about.
Yes, I definitely agree. I think the only thing I miss about California is the Mexican food, and I can get that here. And California, and it's beautiful to look at. If you're like in that picture, they got beautiful mountains. They've got Yosemite. They've got great camping. But it's the people that have turned it into what it is.
And I did live outside of Yosemite for about a year.
Yeah, it's really nice there.
It was one of the best places I've lived. One of the best places. Of course, I'm going to consider my hometown as the best place. I spent 30 years finding my hometown, and I found my hometown. But yeah, Yosemite was not bad. Not bad.
Was really, yeah, because you're isolated away from like the big cities. You don't
right.
like San Francisco, LA, and all that.
Again. another small town that you have to drive 30 to 40 miles to get to buy a Walmart mitten or something like that.
Yes.
Right. So I love small towns, and I used to be able to drive downtown, and everybody knew who I was. I knew who everybody was, and that's pretty much how I feel right here. Except that I choose not to go downtown sometimes, and I get away with that.
Well, that's what's good about it. You get to live where it's peace and quiet, and you don't have to get into the big town unless you drive there. So instead of living there and being stuck with it around you all the time, every single day with the traffic and everything. Basil says, "One day at a time, sir. It's frustrating, I know, but do what you can day by day." Basil says, "Hopefully, if I can finish the book before I have to return it, then I might be as good as Mr. Belly." Enlighten us, Basil. What book is that? Is it something I missed in the chat? I hope I didn't. Suzanne says, "Sorry, Pop. It's been a long day. I'm off to bed now. Have a good night." Good night, Suzanne. 7:54. Wow, that was almost an hour ago she put that. I'm so sorry, Suzanne. I need to get caught up on these chats. I apologize, everybody. I'm not missing them intentionally. And it looks like Mr. CDV dropped out. Are you still there, Nemesis, or am I on my own tonight? And he's back. Okay, there we are. There he is. And Basil says, "Yes, go ahead."
I leaned on my keyboard too hard, and yeah,
That's all right. I think Nemesis stepped away from his keyboard too. Basil says Texas is already flooded with illegal aliens thanks to Sleepy Joe Biden, the cock snorting child molester currently occupying the Oval Office. Yes, that I completely agree. In fact, that's what's interesting is when I was in California, I thought we had a bad border problem there, and well, that's nothing. It's like hold my beer, just wait till you see Texas. Basil Battle Dragon says Greg Abbott is shipping the illegals off to the Yankee State. Yes, I know. I love it. I love to watch all the complaining, bitching in New York and Chicago. And let me see here. How am I? Oh, that's those links that okay, Gorilla put in for me. All right, I got it. Ola Greg says good night, Gorilla. And Ola Greg says cheers. Ola Greg says well, I really need to get caught up on these chats. Ola Greg says the best chefs are trained at Walmart. Yeah, I think that's a tongue-in-cheek there on that one. Ola Greg says, I have several pecan trees. Oh, nice. Pecan pie, yes, absolutely, Ola Greg. I love it. Very sweet, but it's delicious. Ola Greg says, Janeway and Torres were unwatchable. I know that Janeway was the captain. I don't know who Torres was, but I'm going to agree with you. The show was unwatchable. Ola Greg says, I like TOS, TNG, and Enterprise, and sometimes Deep Space Nine was actually good. Deep Space Nine, I tried watching it, but I didn't get past the first. Rocky, hush! I didn't get past the first couple of episodes because I thought it was. I have to have a ship that is traveling through space. I thought Star Trek is about. That's what Trek means, that they're traveling through space and we're going to see new planets every week. But when I saw that it was stuck on a space station, it just wasn't my bag. And Ola Greg says, I have watched all Trek series and movies. That's great. No, I'm not knocking anybody that does watch the other Trek. I'm just saying that it's just, I'm more of a TOS guy. Ola Greg says, yeah, Strange New Worlds has some good episodes, as did Picard season 3. Yeah, but with Strange New Worlds, I know enough because I watched Bird of Prey 5 and he reviews a lot of the current Trek. And I've seen what they've done to the Pike character and how they feminized him and what they've done to Spock. And I can't do it. Just thinking about it upsets me. But I'm not knocking other people that watch it. That's totally fine. I understand other opinions. Gorilla says, some drunk asshole fell in my tub. It sounds like it's time to throw somebody out, Gorilla. That was me. I was the drunk asshole. But be careful and make sure you use the straw for air. And Cody Guy is clapping. I actually caught up on the chat. Very cool. I think we had less people in the chat tonight. So it looks like they were slowing down there after a while. But yeah, Nemesis, are you still with us? How you doing there, buddy? Yeah, I think Nemesis is probably out of there too. But yeah, I know that sounds like I know a lot of people are going to think I'm closed-minded when it comes to Trek, but I can't help it. I didn't like the later iterations Um, I know some of you guys that know me have heard this before, but what really turned me off towards the future Star Treks, like TNG, starting with TNG, is I don't like those damn subplots where the Enterprise is surrounded by three Romulan war vessels, but the entire episode takes place down below where Wesley's going through puberty, or Loaxana's mother has a crush on Riker, or some shit like that. I hated those subplots. I hated them, and it just seemed like because they would tease you every week saying next week on Star Trek, they're surrounded by this alien and they're going to be under attack, and then you tune into that episode, and they always focus 80% of the show with the subplot where somebody's having an affair with somebody or there's some joke down below, and the main plot where they're surrounded by the alien only takes up like 5% of the episode, and then it seemed like it just got more watered down. I guess the best way to describe it. It was just like more soap opera, and I didn't like that. It's like no, I like Captain Kirk, who makes a decision on the fly, kicks ass when he needs to. He doesn't need therapy, and he's not crying his ass off like some little bitch like Picard does. He's not a coward. He knows how to fight. He doesn't need to, like I said, and I'll say it again, counseling. Constantly needing counseling. It's like every time Picard came up against anything, well, I don't know, I got to ask Troy first, or let me go down and talk to that bartender. I need to go talk to the bartender first before I can make any decisions. It's like, no, that's not Trek. No, that's a coward. They feminized him. And that's not Kirk. That wasn't even Kirk. In fact, I said this with the Orville. I would never respect, and I was in the military, I would never respect a commanding officer who constantly needs therapy. I would not trust him. I would not serve under that person. Somebody who needs to be corrected constantly by everyone around them, who has to be insubordinate, I couldn't do it. So it just seemed like starting with TNG on down, especially with the modern Trek, you could tell they're written by people who never served in the military, who don't know what the chain of command is like, who don't know what respect is like. And I think that's what really got to me. It's like you don't have the loyalty, the daring. I don't know. It's like everything, like I said, TOS, they took all the good out of it and just washed it away and then turned it into some bland soap opera. But sorry about the rant. How you doing tonight, PvP?
Oh, I'm doing well. I just got back from the boss's annual Halloween party.
All right.
So,
Did you jump out of the cake?
actually, she didn't have cake this time, but she had some pastries and fried chicken and all kinds of cold cuts and all kinds of cheese and all kinds of stuff. So it was and some spicy chili, which was actually pretty good. So
that sounds good, and all free, which makes it taste even better, right?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, my boss is it's crazy. Like he decks the place out in Halloween decorations like you wouldn't believe. It's like going to a theme park or something. Because she's got the yard decorated. She's got the living room all decked out, with skeletons and all kinds of stuff hanging on the walls. And
nice.
It's pretty cool. Yeah. I think it's her favorite holiday actually. So
now, is this like potluck or like catered or what?
No, she cooks it all. Well, I think she gets help from maybe a friend or sometimes her mom. Her mom was there again tonight. So yeah, really good stuff and
even better home cooking.
Yeah, and so I mean, when the boss invites you and practically begs you to please show up for a while, it's like we really can't say no, right? So
no, what you said before the past, it sounds like she's pretty good looking too. So I'm not going to turn that down.
She's attractive, yeah. But she's been married and she has 3 kids.
Well, I know, but still, you know what I mean.
Yeah, she's easy on the eyes.
Hold on.
Easy on the eyes.
You said she's been married, meaning she's not married now.
No, she's been married for like 20 years or something.
Oh, she has been.
Oh, so she still is.
She still is to the same
still
guy.
Is married. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Bummer for you, dude.
Well, her 2 teenage sons are like teenagers, right? Like probably 15 or 16 at least. So, yeah, she's been married for quite some time, I would guess. Yep.
Well, very cool. Is her husband a nice guy?
What's that? Well, he seems to be the times I've met him, but he does a lot of work where he's away for long periods of time. Like he's been away for like over a month now.
Oh, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
No.
He's kidding.
Nudge.
He does
Know what I
technical
mean, Squire? Know what I mean?
he does technical work, right? So he's got to be away for long road trips working on technical stuff like, phone lines and all that kind of stuff. So it's pretty
No,
crazy.
that's good. You said they've been together for 20 years. Usually when one
At
of the
least, yeah.
usually when one of them has to spend a lot of time away from home, it usually ends up being a dysfunctional family. But that's good they
Oh
were able
no,
to make it work out.
they're a very, very solid family from what I've
Well,
gathered. So
an easier question is she a goer? Is she a goer? Hey, Squire. Blind as a bat.
I think
Blind as a bat.
I think she's a pretty faithful wife and mother actually to her family. So I
That's good.
I don't do that kind of stuff anyway. I don't move in on married women if they're happily married, right? So
I understand. I'm the same way. I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't try to break up anybody. About what do you call
Exactly.
it? That's a homebreaker or homebreaker.
Exactly. Well, yeah. By the way, I really enjoyed that Star Trek rant. I think you made a lot of good points about TNG there.
I know, but usually when I do that, it makes me not very popular because a lot of people like Gorilla
I
grew
know.
up with it.
I know. Yeah, a lot of people, they grew up on TNG, right? But I think the perspective is if you're a bit older like we are and you grew up on TOS first, that gives you a whole different perspective, right?
It does actually give you a very different perspective. Yes, I did grow up on TOS. And honestly, I was very young when TNG started. However, I was a teenager, and so I was able to reason a little bit. For the most part, I still reasoned on Google's boobs for the most part. But I did reason out TNG, and so I stopped. I stopped watching. I don't know what was it, fifth season when DSL
DS9.
DS9 when that started is when I really lost interest, and they were concurrent.
Too. Yeah, that's same here. I did sit through TNG. I wasn't happy with it. But I think DS9, that was the next one after TNG, wasn't it? I think that's the one where I said I'm done.
DS9 was after TNG, exactly.
Yeah, that's when same here. I said I'm done. I'm done. I started watching the first few episodes of DS9.
I got so fed up with DS9. I was like, I don't want to watch Star Trek anymore.
But yeah, they weren't even moving through space anymore. Well, I mean, it's called Star Trek. Trek people. Trek.
Yeah, that's true.
And not only that, though, that's when I was teaching CGI and computer animation in the schools. Oh, yeah. And when I saw that they were using the $50 program off the store shelves called Morph 2.0 for that security guard, whenever they showed him morphing, the special effects were so bad. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe they're doing that. And I knew they had to be costly, so it's like, okay. And then I was telling myself the very first episode, I'm thinking, okay, so the security guard supposedly morphs, which means it's a special effect, which means you're not going to see it, maybe once or twice a season? And it looked bad on top of that. And we had the guy from Benson. I'm really old, sorry, guys.
The thing is, though, they had him morphing a lot in a lot of episodes, actually, as the series went on, so...
Yeah, but look how the effect looked. It looked terrible.
I have to ask you at this point, because you live here and you're available and you have the equipment to do something better than what you're talking about. You have the availability. I don't at this point, but I can read a script. What would you think about doing something something coordinated that would be a really good Star Trek episode?
That's what Jim here, Jim, I don't know if he's still in the chat, but I think that's what he does. Jim recruits people. He does Star Trek videos, band videos, and he recruits people to do the voices and stuff like that. I'm not sure to what extent.
Well, I'll be happy to do any voice anybody wants me to do.
Yeah, Jim, are you still out there? Are you listening? Are you still awake, buddy? I think that's what Jim
I
does. He's got like and he even does like the CGI spaceship scenes and stuff like that.
I
He's got some
I
videos.
still think of myself as a teenager, so when I think of my voice, I think of my voice as uh, like a tenor voice, like nobody really pays attention to what I say. But I know for a fact that I can get down into deep registers and make voices for most of my characters that I do on my YouTube stream. It's just that it's like I want to do something that is going to, hit people like hard,
Right. Yeah.
I would
it's
love
not,
to do a Star Trek episode that was more Star Trekky than anything we've had in the last 10 years. Does that make sense?
absolutely. Yes, it does. Have you seen the new voyages and some of those other new stuff that they've done?
Yeah, the new voyages are the best episodes of Star Trek.
Yes, I completely agree. It's right. It's like those two seasons we never got. Yes, I completely agree. And then
Exactly.
the
Yes,
fact
they
that
are
they
the fourth and fifth seasons.
yeah, the fact they built the sets and everything. Well, I've always said I wish I could go see those sets. I've always wanted to see that.
Oh, I've
They look
wanted to see
fantastic.
those sets for so long.
Yeah, I think they're in New York, Ticonderoga or something like that. There's two of them, I think, right? Because there was two. There was two. There was
Well, they
these are the
did
voyages. I
too.
think.
They had to have a second episode or a second uh uh what is it the damn it sorry the
Take your time.
cargo areas where they had to open up
Oh, the
plenty of
shuttle bay.
space, right? Yeah, where they had to do that for the second season of the
Yes,
show,
yes.
where they rented out a cargo space and they just used that as the cargo or the
Shuttle
shuttle
bay.
bay,
Okay.
right? And so it looks like any cargo transfer space in any city, right? But it still looks scientific-y.
Nice. Well, I know there was two of them. There was. I know I have them on my server somewhere, but there were two big Star Trek fan productions, and there was the one with Vic Magnoni. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. And then there was another one, and they both recreated the sets. And I was very impressed. A lot of detail, and in fact, especially since they actually had some professional Star Trek people working on those. They got some of the production people, some of the set builders, and they
Yes,
even had some of the
as a
actors
matter of
on
fact,
there.
Yeah.
some of the Star Trek shows that were you can still watch them on YouTube. Some of the Star Trek shows were actually written by what's her name?
DC Fontana.
DC Fontana. Some of them were actually written by her,
Yep,
by
I agree.
YouTubers, right? And
Uh-huh.
so they were actual Star Trek episodes, as far as I'm concerned.
Same
They're
here. Yeah,
actually,
I'll take those over any of the modern garbage.
exactly. And that was what recently, like 5 years ago or something. So
Before she passed, because she's dead now. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, the sad thing is though, the fan productions are way better than the garbage they're cranking out now with the
Oh,
Star Trek label on it,
absolutely.
right?
And a fraction of the
Absolutely.
budget. A fraction of
Yeah,
the budget.
yeah, and it looks better. The acting's better. The costumes, the design, everything looks better than the garbage that the official junk they're cranking out. Like, I don't get why CBS or whatever shut down the fan productions.
So
So
because they knew
heavily.
they were making better stuff, and then that's the whole problem. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess.
and you look at the new stuff. The only credit I can give the new stuff, and I can say, yeah, they're definitely throwing a lot of money at that, aren't they? That's the only credit I can give the new shows. You can tell
Ridiculous.
there's like a whole
There's
shitload of money in
a lot
there.
of money at
A
it.
a huge waste of money, in my opinion.
Yes, it
It's
is.
a huge waste of money.
It is. I mean, yeah, you can just tell. It's like, my goodness, imagine if TOS had a budget like that.
Oh,
But
jeez.
but
Wow.
proportionally, though, they did
Right?
because
Yeah.
yeah. But proportionally, though, they did because when TOS was made, it was one of the highest budgeted shows at the time.
Well,
People now say cardboard sets and they make fun of it, but at the time, it was one of the most expensive shows on the air.
the first season, they their biggest enemies were like blurry splotches on the screen, on the main screen of the Enterprise. Right, they were the blurry the
Practical
splotches
effects.
and stuff, and so you dealt with that because, well, I mean, it was 1960s, right? So it
Well, the
was
Doomsday Machine,
incredible.
right? The Doomsday Machine was a windsock, right?
Thing is, I still think a lot of those original effects hold up pretty well. Like,
So do
Oh,
I.
they
Yeah.
still do.
I look
Yeah,
at
absolutely.
I look at this. I think a lot of some of the CGI stuff when they redid it, not too many years ago, I think some of the CGI stuff is kind of pretty weak, actually. It makes the
yeah, since
Enterprise look more fake to me. It looks cartoonish.
well, yeah. Since Jill, Jill, a shout out to Anna Derivative Jill. She does we do our TOS reviews every Tuesday, and we sometimes compare the effects between when she shows the TOS on Tuesday, she is showing the ones with the remastered effects, but we usually will cut in and out, and we'll compare the two between TOS and between the original effects and the remastered. The difference is with the original effects, they were actually shot on film with an 11-foot model. Well, actually, they had a 3-foot. They had different size models, obviously.
Yeah, they had
But
a few
the
different
problem,
ones.
yeah, the problem is when they did the remaster, when Toshiba did the remaster. Now, remember, that was when Blu-ray and HDTV were going head to head, and that's the only reason why they did the remaster in the first place.
Yeah,
But when they did the remaster,
neither one of those companies realized that going live stream is the best choice.
well, yeah, right. Not only that though, but when they remastered all the new effects, I don't know if I really call them remastered now, but I wouldn't even use the word master. I'll just say rehacked or regurgitated. But when they did those effects, they did it in 720p, and now people are like, "What is that?" Right now we're at 4K and 8K, and UHD and all this other kind of stuff. So when you watch the remastered effects of TOS, they were done in 720p. Remember, that's not even 1080p.
That's terrible.
So it is. That's why when you see the Enterprise, it looks there's no detail. Well, there's detail, but not like looking at a model.
It's
So
not
that's
like
why the
looking at
original
yeah.
effect.
They look
All right,
real
Well,
because they are the
the
original.
ironic thing is that you're actually looking at a model, and I understand that you want high definition and all that stuff, but the fact is, you really are looking at a model of something that was created before, and it's remastered to look beautiful, even though the original was beautiful in our opinion.
Yes, but it was done in 720p. Remember that. So you're never going to get that high quality detail. But I'll give you an example. Here's a perfect example. You can watch any. Okay, like as you know, I'm a TOS fan, but when you watch on film the TOS movies of the refit of the Enterprise, on film it looks absolutely beautiful. You can see every panel, you can see every detail, every window.
Yep.
But when you watch the remastered effects, because they're done in 720p, they're almost cartoonish. I guess is the best way to put it. You can just tell it's not a physical model. And I guess the only option would be if somebody said, "Well, what do you expect?" I'd say, "Well, they need to redo it with actual models, which then they'll never do, or do with high quality, more high definition effects, which they'll never do. Because at this point, they dumped that money into it.
I have to go back to the re-releases of my Star Trek or Star Wars. Sorry, Star Wars episode 4, 5, and 6.
Oh, the ones with the little cartoon creatures in them. Yeah,
I was an adult when I watched those, and I was also a child when I watched those. It is a continuity error every time I see a creature that George Lucas invented in order to put into his shows.
Yes.
I was already an adult by the time I saw the recreations of my favorite trilogy of the series.
Same here. I watched Star Wars when I was a kid. I was 11, 12, I think 12. And when I think they called them remastered. When
Remastered.
Yeah, when the 4, 5, 6 came out, I sat through the fourth one, and I was like, "Oh my god! Oh no, no, no!" So I didn't bother going back. No, I'm sorry. Fourth one. Yeah, A New Hope. I sat through the remaster of that, and I said no, no, and I didn't even go bother watching the fifth and the sixth one because that was exactly every now and
I
then.
did. Honestly, and I actually watched the sequel trilogy in the theaters. I watched the second and third sequel trilogy with my son, and every time we came out of the theater, we were like, "God damn, fucking Star Wars! What the fuck?"
Yeah.
Because we, my son included, grew up with the original trilogy, and we watched that Force Awakens, and we went, "Yep, that's number 4. That's all it is."
Well,
It is.
I actually saw the original trilogy in the theaters as a teenager. That's how old I am. With my cousin.
Yeah, me too. I was
first
12
one.
or whatever.
Yeah, I was a little older than that, but
I was not. I was in the back seat of my parents' station wagon when we were watching that. But I do remember Empire Strikes Back in the theater, in a driveway, not
Drive-in.
a driveway, but drive-in. Yeah.
no, the thing was when we
My
saw
favorite
it,
experience is the drive-in. Actually,
we saw it on a huge screen in Vancouver, right?
There's
We actually
not a lot of
drove.
places you can go to a drive-in theater.
Not around
anymore.
here. Not around here.
yeah, I was going to ask you that, Mr. CCDV. There isn't any drive-in around here. Is there any at all in Arizona, or what? Maybe
No,
Phoenix?
there's none in Arizona that I know of. Otherwise, I have been to it. I would have been to them, but
what
no.
a tragedy! Yeah,
For my knowledge, there's no drive-in in Arizona right now.
that does suck.
Yeah, the closest one to me is about a 2.5 hour drive down the highway, and I ain't driving those hours back and forth to just watch a couple of movies. It's just not going to happen. Right?
Yeah,
No.
exactly. There should be a lot more drive-ins.
Oh, I
There
can understand
really
it. Like
should be.
we had them up until the early '80s. We had a beautiful drive-in in my hometown called the Skyview, and it was a great little drive-in. And they showed all kinds of cool movies, of course. But
I grew
you
up
know,
in Los Angeles,
then they tore it down.
in the no, I don't want to get the theater wrong. Rosecrans. Oh, Rosecrans is the last drive-in theater that I remember actually going to and actually having Rosecrans theater. You had to hook that
Speaker.
You had to hook the speaker onto your window.
Oh, yeah.
I
the
remember
movie,
that.
right?
And not drive
That's-
off
yeah.
with it, right?
That's
Not
the
drive-
last time I remember being in a theater, because I used to go to my friend's house and hang out on the roof, and he had an AM radio, and he could get the theater movies on his AM radio. So we would sit on his top, and we were very close to the theater, and we could actually watch the movie while we were listening to the theater.
Yes.
It was awesome.
Right. Originally, they had the speakers, the metallic. They weighed like 5 pounds that hooked up to your window, and then they had the clips that hooked up to your antenna on your car, and then they broadcasted on like a FM, AM, or FM station.
We got the radio broadcast towards the end of the drive-in era in my town too, which was much handier. Just tune the radio in, and
Right, and with few, like when I was living in California, there was fortunately a mom and pop drive-in that was still around, even is now. It's in Madera.
Wow, cool.
And I would drive all the way there because it was very small, only 2 screens. But I've said it before on my streams. What unfortunately killed 99% of the drive-ins is when they forced all of them to go digital, and they couldn't afford the digital projectors. They got rid of the film reels and stopped shipping out the film reels.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, they stopped shipping out the film reels back in the 90s.
You can thank George Lucas for that, Mr. Lucas. Asshole.
Don't blame him.
He pushed it. He's the one that pushed it. He's the one that said he did it with the Star Trek prequels, or what is it, sequels, or whatever the hell those things were. But that was the period where they were phasing out film because he wanted everyone to go digital. But fortunately, we have a few directors now who still refuse. Tarantino is one of them, and what's the guy? The one who did the big Batman movies. They refuse. They still do film.
Christopher Nolan?
Yeah, that's it, Christopher Nolan. So we do have a few directors that refuse to do digital, which they're holding out, which I thank God. But unfortunately, even though they film movies on film, they're still transferred to digital before they get to the theaters. Yeah. And all the theaters, it's like, what's a projectionist? They don't even have that anymore.
Yeah.
It's a satellite receiver now.
Yeah. The projectionist just basically puts in a DVD and goes, okay, I'm going to watch this.
It's not even a DVD. It's not even a DVD anymore. It's a satellite receiver now. And now it's a satellite receiver.
It's the same thing.
There's no physical media anymore involved.
They probably don't even have projectionists in a lot of theaters anymore.
No, what it is, I'm not serious. It's a satellite receiver hooked up to a projector.
They probably just flick a switch and it's all taken care of, right? It's crazy.
Yes, there's no physical media.
Yeah.
And Gorilla's Random Thoughts says PvP jumped out of a vat of eggnog naked. Not tonight, Gorilla. He was at a
not
party.
True. Yeah, I don't think I would want to do that at my boss's party.
No. And boy, I'm late on these chats. PvP says, haha, Gorilla. And PvP says, hey, Gorilla, join the panel. Yeah, Gorilla, PvP, an update. He's had a long day. Yeah. He had a birthday party with his family. And stuff, so he's kind of taking it easy.
The next comment, he explains it,
There we go. PvP, I was on panel but laying down for bed listening until I fall asleep, which, considering that was, he's probably asleep by now. PvP says, okay, no worries, Gabriel. And there's Daniel. Daniel says, sorry, I had to pop out for a bit, but did you know Star Wars got better? It's got time travel now. It's a dimension called the World Between Worlds, and you can go anywhere in time and space in this place. I can't believe I just read that.
That sounds more like a fantasy than sci-fi.
You read hard.
Popping out, guys.
You read hardcore.
There's an echo somewhere, guys.
Echo.
Nemesis.
Hey, Nemesis, there you are.
Yeah, dude, my internet is not good, so I'm gonna pop out. It's been wonderful.
Okay.
All
Right.
Well,
thanks, Nemesis. I hope I see you Tuesday.
Oh, dude, you'll see me on every horror stream. You got it, buddy.
Absolutely.
Night, Nemesis.
Have a good night, dude.
You as well, guys. Take care.
Good on.
Bye. Well, Daniel, you're welcome back anytime on the panel if you can. I think I'm going to be wrapping it up relatively soon.
Oh, darn. I missed everything tonight.
No, you didn't miss anything. All we did PvP was talk about food and me being sick. I mean, that pretty much sums up the whole night. And then when you came on, we started talking about
Trek. Not quite completely, because we did talk about Star Trek and Star Wars. We did.
Right, us old-fashioned guys, we lament the old days of Star Trek. Honestly, I do remember And I knew that the end of Star Wars was when the Ewoks popped out. I was like, oh God,
Oh
no.
yeah. Oh,
Oh,
that
I,
was
jeez.
that was
I
such a
I
huge
was
disappointment.
I was a child. I was a child when they came out.
No
I
offense.
was I was very angry in what 99 or 2001 or whatever it was that they re-released it, and Hayden Christensen was
Oh,
the Anakin
Anakin at the end, yes.
Skywalker, and I was very very angry about that.
Yeah, I know. That was tragedy. My goodness. It's like, oh. Yeah,
Yeah,
well done again. Yeah.
Why did you do that? Why?
Or the same reason
Seriously,
why Han Solo didn't
just
shoot first.
just get the old actor, or just take a picture of the old actor. It doesn't matter. It does.
Well, we could have just left it like it
I
was, not
don't
touched
want to
it.
see. I don't want to see Hayden Christensen as a good Jedi. I
Or
don't want to see that.
you don't like the guy who doesn't like sand? You know what? I hated those movies so much. I hated those movies so much. To this day, I still will not watch any movie with Natalie Portman in it. I don't give a shit what they say or how good it is. Screw her. She was like the worst actress I've ever seen in my life. And between her and the Hayden Christensen, it was like watching cardboard up on the screen. I hated those movies so much.
yeah, from the school of block of wood acting.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
terrible. George Lucas is
exactly.
not a director. George
Wood
Lucas is not.
acting.
It was horrible. It was like
Oh
I mean,
my
it's like
god.
it was like everything was done in one take. Don't worry, that's fine. Next.
Yeah.
You
Well,
you split an apple in half with your mind. Oh my god, I'm so in love with you right now.
Right?
Oh my
Are you an angel? Oh, oh, I hate that little bastard. And of course, he wins the pod race. What a surprise! That little 2-year-old kid wins the
oh,
pod
I
race.
hate that movie. That was the only one I saw in the theater, and I wanted my money back. It was so bad. Oh, hated that movie.
Jeez.
That was
That,
the one with
that
Jar
was
Jar Binks,
Uh,
wasn't it?
yeah, yes,
I
it
hate
was.
to say,
Yeah.
I hate to
Okay.
say that I've seen all 9 movies in the theater. I hate to say that because it is true, but I have seen all 9 movies in the theaters.
Oh, you have my
That's like
my
standing in
sympathies.
front. Right, that's
My
like standing
sympathies.
in front of a firing squad saying, "I admit to all my crimes." Go ahead, pull the trigger.
Just pull the
and,
trigger. I'm done.
and not just once, but
Please,
multiple
just
times.
don't.
Yeah, please, right,
Don't mess
please,
up with.
right.
Don't
Shoot, please
look.
shoot.
I
Just-
was a child. I was a child when I had Luke Skywalker as what Mattel. It wasn't Mattel. It was another company. But I had Luke Skywalker. I had Han Solo. I had
Yep.
Chewbacca. I had all those characters when I was a child. And I was always Luke Skywalker. Because he was the best.
It was a lot more believable too. He was like an underdog, and he had a character arc. All the things they don't have anymore. I think with that stinking Anakin, that first one, the 2-year-old kid, I think that, if my memory serves, I think that's the first time we got a Mary Sue, where you have a little kid who is the master at everything and who suddenly knows everything and wins at everything.
Of course. He was able to win the race.
Yeah, and he was a master mechanic.
Yeah.
He could build a robot.
And he could fly a starship, and he could
Yep.
destroy the whatever, you know.
And
we
do it
needed to
and do it
make
all
it.
better than any of the adults
Yeah.
around him, right?
Everything
Like,
that
right.
everything that ever happened around him was what he is.
Yep.
He is the original Mary Sue, and I don't doubt that was not George Lucas intended.
It was. He wrote and directed it.
I think Lucas just lost his talent at that point, basically.
Well, not only that, but even he said if you watch the Red Letter Media, their reviews, and I remember the reviews at the time, the difference was when it was the same thing that happened to Steven Spielberg. When they were young, before they had kids, their movies were much better. But once they had kids, they were influenced by their kids. And George Lucas said that when he wrote the prequels, he was influenced by his grandkids, and they were telling him what to do. That's how he got Count Dooku.
Oh
Isn't that
God.
funny? Isn't everybody laughing? Dooku, like Dookie? Ha, ha, ha.
Oh jeez. That explains Jar Jar.
Yes, it was for his grandkids.
Oh, I hate that character so much.
Yes.
I don't doubt that one bit.
Oh,
Well, they like Dooku. They wanted to because he said his granddaughter said, "Can't you call him Dookie? Call him Dookie." And he said, "Well, kids, they'll know what we're talking about. So let's change it to this." So they changed one letter. And instead of Dookie, it was Dooku. I mean, that was obvious right there. Daniel says, "I wish time travel was real because the future is going to suck." Oh, that's right. For example, Best Buy will stop selling physical media 2024, along with other retailers. Thankfully, Walmart will be the future. Daniel, I've been watching that, and we're not really sure because, all right, everything's planned ahead of time, and it takes years to get caught up to. What we're seeing now was planned years ahead before. So they thought. Now we're talking, let's say 5 years ago. They thought the future was going to be streaming, and they thought they're going to phase out physical media. But now they're realizing the streaming is failing, and they're losing money, and they're starting to go back to physical media. That's why record sales are doing so well. So don't hold your breath, Daniel. Yeah, they might phase it out, but don't be surprised if it comes back.
actually, Best Buy
But at least that's my opinion.
Best Buy phased out all their physical media here about 3 or 4 years ago, in my part of Canada, and it sucked. But we used to have a great store called Future Shop, which was a Canadian chain, a big chain, and they were basically like Canadian Best Buy, right? But I think they were far better because the selection they just literally had probably 1,000 DVDs and CDs in their average store, right? You could just go and just spend hours looking through the physical media. It was wonderful. And then Best Buy came into Canada, bought them out, shut
As
them down,
usual.
and turned it into Best Buy. And then within a couple years, they got rid of all the physical
Of course,
media.
they kill everything, right?
Yeah,
all,
the staff,
all
the
of
staff's
physical
generally,
media is gone.
yeah, the staff is generally half-assed
Right.
at best.
Yeah,
It's
but like
just-
I said, anybody who's watching anything, Disney Plus is failing. HBO Plus, whatever the hell that's called, is struggling. Paramount Plus is failing. What's the other? Peacock, all those are failing. I mean, the only one that's making money right now is Netflix. And even then, they're not making as much as they used to because people are turning away from that garbage because all they're making is garbage content.
No, exactly.
That's it.
Fix what did you call it?
Netflix.
Netflix are gone. They're gone.
It is. So now they're realizing dumping physical media is now they're believe me, and in fact I just read last week Disney of all of them who were the first ones to get rid of physical media. Disney's coming out with some kind of classics package where you can buy a whole bunch of their movies on DVD and Blu-ray. So they're now realizing all the money they're losing, and they are, like I said, their streaming is failing, and they're realizing that. So just don't be surprised if physical media comes back because they do make more on physical media than they do streaming.
Yeah, I think it will come. I think you're right, Pop. I think it's got a good future ahead of it. I don't think
I know it does.
the doom and gloom like some people say. Well, look at vinyl. I remember vinyl was the thing when I was young, right? I mean, that's how you bought, unless you bought cassettes, but I stuck with vinyl because it was more durable and sounded better. And then that was like the death when CDs came in back, I guess, in the late 80s, if I remember.
Late 80s,
correctly.
yeah.
And you couldn't buy a vinyl record to save your life after a while. So I just switched to CD, and I don't mind CDs. Actually, to my old ears, they sound okay. But vinyl, like, it's come back huge in like the last 5, 6, 7 years or whatever.
And it's expensive, and people are paying the money for the more expense.
That's what bugs me. I used to buy the brand new hit albums for $4.99 back in the 70s, right?
Or the 45s, remember those?
Oh, $1, $1 Canadian, $1.
Yep.
And it was like you could go in and bet the top 30, and half of them were on sale every week, right? They switch it up and it was wonderful. And now the same album I bought for $4.99 back then, I'll pay $40 for it.
Yes, and now you'll pay 60 and 80 because they have like red and blue vinyl and all that kind of garbage.
It's crazy.
They're really
Yeah,
milking it because they know.
I don't buy new vinyl. I just don't. I mean, I still got some records on the shelf, even though I stupidly sold a large part of my collection off when vinyl was dead.
Well, we
So
thought it
hey,
wasn't coming back. We didn't know.
Yeah, exactly. Oh well, live and learn, eh?
But I think it's going to happen with streaming as well. I mean, because like I said, streaming is failing.
I hope
Disney,
so.
their stock is tanking. People are unsubscribing in mass.
I never
So
subscribed
there's
in the first
definitely no
place.
future. Well, you know, I knew it when I first heard. Okay, I like Netflix. I'm old school Netflix. I used to have them delivered to my door, you know, and all that crap. But I remember when it was announced that every studio wants to start their own streaming service. I knew that was the end of it. It's like, okay, there's no way, because I said there's no way. I knew people aren't going to want to pay for 10 different streaming services, and that's basically what it is. And even then, like Disney's a good. I have to use Disney as an example every time. Disney has a huge library of content dating back decades. But if you right now, if you pay their, I don't know, $20 a month, whatever the hell it is, you're not even going to get a fraction of what their library is. What you're going to get is maybe 3% of their classic stuff, and that'll be edited down. There's an LP. Johnny Cash.
Well, that's trouble.
Is it
with
an
Disney,
LP? Am I right?
Nice.
Yeah, that's an actual
Yeah,
LP.
that's
Good old Johnny.
78.
78. You mean 33?
No, that's a 78. I got
1978. 1978. Sorry, I'm old, really. Dating myself.
I've got 33s if you want to see them.
Kenny
But
Rogers
I thought-
before the plastic surgery botched. And before he looked like a woman. Darn Dolly Parton for that. She's the one that convinced him into getting the. Oh, yeah, Mac the Knife. Oh, Bobby Darin. Well, I haven't seen that name in a while.
Yeah,
I'm
he was
just
pretty
saying.
big back then.
You know, there are people in this world who appreciate this kind of content.
Well, it's been proven that. Oh, Billboard, yes. The LPs have better. You get the full sound range with LPs. CDs are not.
We appreciate this kind of content.
Yeah,
There are
that's great
people
you
in
still have
this
that.
world that still appreciate this kind of content.
You're lucky you still have that. I've moved around so much. I lost most of my stuff.
Well, I think I read somewhere a while back that the Beatles are still one of the biggest selling bands in the world, right?
Yep.
So that says something about the staying power of this, you know, older music.
Well, it is, but the LP, a lot of people don't. Well, people are now starting to
Sorry,
realize.
it took me for so long to get back into camera, but
Oh, no problem. But what a lot of people didn't realize is that LPs, since they were analog, you could hear the full range, every instrument, all the pitches and everything. And when they digitized, you lose some of that stuff when the CDs came out.
You really don't want to know. Okay.
It's not just digitizing though, Pop. It's also sometimes they do that remastering crap, and
Oh,
you know,
yes.
they fiddle with the sound and
Like a
I
lot of the
remember-
bass, you lose a lot of the bass.
Yeah, I remember like Helter Skelter by the Beatles, one of my favorite Beatles tunes, right? Because it's so insane with Paul screaming his lungs out. I heard the remaster that they came out with a few years ago. They basically actually like really toned the bass down or something and basically ruined the song. And I believe they actually edited out Ringo's "I've got blisters on my fingers" scream at the end of the song, which makes no sense at all, right?
Well, they don't want to offend anybody, probably, right?
Oh, I don't get it.
Modern audience, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I still prefer the original, you know, the originals. Original releases.
Daniel says Walmart may be the future of holding physical media. Let's hope, because
We
that
have
could change,
another-
and I hope it doesn't.
We have another chain here called London Drugs, which is a big retail, you know, pharmacy, but they sell everything. Like you can buy chairs, you know, tables,
Wow.
records, you know, computers, TVs, the whole 9 yards, right? It's basically like a department store.
That is
And,
definitely a 78.
Yeah, nice.
Is that a 78?
This
Looks
is
like
a
it.
78. Yes.
I haven't seen one of those since I don't remember. I think I was a teenager last time I saw 78.
My
I
my
would
my
I
parents
would
used to
bring
have
out
those.
my 78 and actually play record for you if you would want me to. However, most of the time on YouTube, people don't even know what a 78 is.
Oh, you're right. I know, right? Yes.
That's a pretty old format. I can't remember when it
It,
got
you
phased
know,
out.
And they're heavy.
Dr. Demento
Some time ago.
actually put a YouTube video like 30 years ago. He put a YouTube video on, or well, 20 years ago, he put a YouTube video on where he was washing his records. I have a lot of these records. I'm showing this one because it's the least expensive one I have. But 78s are very expensive.
Oh yeah, they were very
Oh
rare
yeah.
too.
Well, they're rare because they're very breakable too, right?
Yeah,
The
you
way
drop
they're
one of
made.
those and they
Yes.
shatter.
And
Yeah,
I also have the player to go with it.
that's nice.
But you
Yeah,
know,
nice to have a 78 player. Don't
The
see many.
modern retro players that they sell now, I don't even know if they have the 78 setting on them. Do they?
Probably the good ones do if you get, if you pay the
the
money.
good ones do, yeah.
Yeah.
The record player you see right behind me, right there, plays 72 records as well. But mostly it plays 92 records and the 72s. But they don't play these.
Wow, yeah, you don't see that anymore.
I do have a whole stack of these, by the way.
Yeah, 78's, there's definitely a collector's niche that really does look for those, and that's probably why they're pretty pricey at some of the titles, yeah. And they're hard to find. That's the thing too, right? They're hard to find. So
Well,
Well,
especially now with vinyl
provided
coming back.
provided the dog doesn't eat them while I'm on this internet. Yeah.
Oh, speaking of movie directors that have been around a long time, have you guys heard about this Napoleon film that Ridley Scott is bringing out soon?
No, I heard he was making a sequel to Gladiator, I think, and I think he's working on maybe a new Alien, but I haven't heard
Uh,
of it.
well, yeah, I actually saw.
Oh
the
wait,
tra-
Napoleon with Joaquin Phoenix.
Yes, I saw the trailer a couple days ago. It was like a 2.5 minute trailer on YouTube,
How's it look?
and it looks really good. Like
I
it,
saw a
Why?
still of his
Joaquin
face.
Joaquin looks like he's given a great, career defining performance in this, at least from the clip, right? I mean, who knows? I mean, the film could still stink. I haven't seen the film, but the trailer looks really solid. Like great battle scenes, like real huge action battle, cannons firing, the whole 9 yards, right? And of course, there's the romance stuff with Josephine, and it looks pretty sexy. So that was good. And yeah, Joaquin, man, he was scary almost. Like he was very convincing as Napoleon and the dictator, right? So yeah, it looks like Ridley might have finally got his groove back.
I
Geez,
hope
I mean,
so.
I'm amazed.
Hmm.
I wasn't expecting it. But
He has the
anyway,
potential. Yeah, he's
Kinda
made some good
hard to
movies.
believe.
check the trailer out though. Check the trailer out because I thought it looked pretty interesting.
I will. I appreciate that. Yeah, because now that you mentioned it, I did see a still of his face. And I
Yeah.
was like, what does he look like? I guess so.
Well, everything looks good. Like the costumes look fantastic. I mean, it looks like a real historical period piece, which we don't get anymore, right? And I always kind of enjoy those movies occasionally when they actually go back in history and recreate an era.
Yeah, not
It's
really.
you know,
We really don't get anything from the BBC anymore, right?
BBC is pretty bad from
So
what I've heard.
yeah, and so we're talking about European history, and so
Yeah,
European
French history.
seriously impressive. But yeah, they like they put themselves down. The British Empire puts themselves down in modern media, and that ain't right. We wouldn't exist without the British Empire.
Well, that's how we got here, I guess. We just broke off from them.
Well, that's how we got here. Both countries, like you guys, broke off from them. We continue to be a part of the Commonwealth, but it's the same thing. We both originated from British culture, right? So that's why we have so many similarities, even though we have differences as well.
Darn colonizers.
Damn colonizers. I tell you what. We done brung up with the American dollar. Everybody goes with the American dollar. American dollar.
Well, yeah, but with the current economy, it's tanking, unfortunately. Thanks to our current politics.
I was in Germany in 2008 or 2006 to 2009, and trust me, I totally know how the American dollar is tanking. I get it.
You think it'll be euro dollar or whatever? Eventually.
Oh man, when friends of mine were there when they switched over, they were like, "Yeah, they just put euro in front of the Deutschmark instead of 90 cents for a gallon of or for a dozen eggs. It was a 120 for $1 of eggs."
Jeez.
And it was like, motherfucker, really? Because I believe that all my friends told me that the Deutschmark was way more than the American dollar. And then I ended up in Germany while it was transitioning from the Deutschmark to the euro. And I was like, mother... Really? This is how you're going to treat me? So I go to a German restaurant and I'm like, okay, fine. I'm going to spend 20 euros on a meal that should cost me 15 euros.
Of course. It's always going to be for the worst.
Yeah, that exchange rate can be a bitch, can't it?
Right.
As a Canadian, I'm well aware of that because your dollar is generally floating higher than ours, even though it changes day by day. But
yeah, it does change by day by day. But
well, they keep printing more and more, and just printing more and more is what the problem is.
That does seem to come down to the problem, honestly. It really does. But like, our economy is stronger than yours. We can print more money.
I think national debt's becoming a big problem, though, for a lot of countries these days, right? Because
there's no ceiling on it anymore. They just say, "Who cares? Just keep raising it. Who cares?"
Yeah.
I mean, back in the old days, they used to at least try to keep it down. Not anymore. It's like, who cares?
Yeah, they used to try and be responsible to the citizenry and say, "We're going to try and not spend any more than really necessary." But then they figured out, they could just get away with it, right? So.
Yeah, nobody. Right? They know that we don't have any say. So us citizens, we can't stop them. So yeah, why not? Right?
Well,
it's not we the people. It's them and us.
Yeah. Well, I think they realize, Pop, that a lot of us have gotten so cynical. Like, I used to be a total news junkie, like up until about 5-6 years ago, right? I was watching an hour of news every night and staying totally informed about things.
I totally understand your social situation. I totally understand that. Yes, absolutely.
I just think the news
watched
everywhere.
The news a lot. I did watch the news a lot.
It's so depressing now. It's just like there's so much crap going on.
It's not the depressing. It's just all propaganda. It's all funded by big corporations, and we see on one station the same thing on the other station, verbatim.
That's the main reason I quit watching. Like CBC used to be, Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. Used to have great news. Like,
they used to have great news. Yeah,
they used to have in-depth, like 20-minute segments.
Investigative reporters, right?
Exactly, investigative. They do a 20-25 minute story, thorough. Now it's all propaganda, as you say, woke stuff.
Politics, right? They're all one-sided for one president or the other. Mostly one political side.
And the last time I watched it, like maybe 4 years ago, It was all women and black dudes. Like there were no white men anymore on the show.
Oh, they're phased out. Yeah,
They
that's
were just
not.
gone.
Yeah,
Right?
totally paid out
Yeah.
correspondence. Yeah,
Even though
absolutely.
one of their most popular reporters they ever had was a guy called Peter Mansbridge, who was a white dude that did the news every night for many, many years until he retired, right? And he was one of the most well-respected journalists in the country. And then when he retired, CBT just flipped the switch and went totally woke and crazy and into, as you say, propaganda. And I just gave up after a few months. I can't watch this crap anymore.
Right,
'Cause it was a waste
and
of
we've
time.
seen now, and we're living in the era now where we've seen where they won't show a complete video clip. They only show a certain part of it to anger the crowds and to weaponize the media.
Exactly.
And that's why we've got BLM and everything else going on right now, because they won't show the truth. And yeah, it's like it's totally flipped on its head to where they're using it to manipulate people, and people are falling for it. And they're intentionally dividing the country.
That's it. That's what I was just going to mention. I think
Countries,
that's totally
plural form. Yeah, plural form.
well, it's divide and conquer, right, Pop? It's
very effective. Very
right?
effective, and it works right.
Yeah, it works all
And,
the time.
and you're right, and it's not just the U.S. and Canada; it's all over the world. We see the same things going on, exact same thing going on everywhere.
Totally.
Because all the countries are ran by a handful of people. We've got what's the name of that country? I'm sure I'll think of the name, but at least expect it.
Just go with California.
What part of the world is this country in?
California.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe I can narrow it down for you.
Bilderberg. That's it. It's a Bilderberg group. Bilderberg runs the whole country, the whole world. And they meet once a year. They have a few delegates from each country. And they know ahead of time who's going to be president, who's going to do what, and all that stuff. It's the Bilderberg group. And look it up. For those out there, if you're listening, I know we get too much into politics, so people get you now.
Yeah. We don't want to get any YouTube algorithms.
But yeah, the whole world. I mean, it's not a coincidence that all the countries are having the same problems. It's not a coincidence. I'll put it that way.
Oh yeah. Well, I was just talking to one of my buddies from work tonight. My old buddy that I talk to quite often because we have a lot of similar interests. Like we're both big movie fans and stuff like that, right? And we got talking a bit about what's going on over in the Middle East, and it's like I have just I knew generally what's going on, but I've kind of ignored it on purpose because I just don't need the depressing crap, right? And he kind of filled me in on an update, and from what he was telling me, it's getting really bad. Really serious over there.
Oh, it is. It is. In my whole life, I've never seen it so close to World War III from what's going on right now. We're really pissing off Russia. We're really pushing their buttons, which is stupid.
And China.
Right. Our two biggest threats. You're exactly right. It's like, in fact, what we're doing, of course, it's like we have a coward.
I'm sorry. I need to interrupt you.
Go ahead.
98 to 95. 98 to 2000. You need to realize that we averted a nuclear war.
Who was president then? I'm trying to remember.
It was President
was it
Clinton.
Bush? Was it
Clinton.
Bush?
Yeah,
Bush?
it was Clinton.
Oh yeah.
And we prevented a nuclear war in the Balkans by participating in NATO.
Oh yes.
And I was a part of that, so I apologize if I know you guys want to mess up with.
No, you don't need to apologize. No, you don't need to apologize. It's the same thing with during the Bay of Pigs and the Cuban crisis. We were close then too, but it doesn't mean we're not close again now.
Yeah, exactly. And we've been close many times.
Right, but now it's like intentional. And on a larger scale, it seems like a larger scale. We've got more countries involved now.
It does seem like a larger scale. Yeah, but honestly, it's not that big of a deal.
Well, we hope so.
North Korea is not that big of a deal.
Right, you're right. It was a few years ago. It was North Korea was the biggest threat, not anymore. But what it is, it's like it just seems like with our current, I know I don't like talking about politics, but our current administration is like they're cowards. It's like, no, they don't want to go punch Russia in the face, but they'll give money to another country to go do it. That's the problem. That's the problem is we're funding the other countries to start the war for us.
I'm not going to. I'm not going to iterate on that kind of subject.
Sorry about anybody out there listening. I apologize for that. I know usually we don't get political on my stream. I do. And especially if you guys are listening, anybody listening on the rerun, don't unsub, please. I promise I won't do it again.
I was big there in the early 90s or late 90s, I should say. I was big there. I was big there in the Iraqi war from 03 to 11. So I have a different, unique perception of what we did, and
of course, because anybody who's there is going to know the truth, right? All most people know is what they saw in the media. But of course, if you were there, then of course you're going to know more than us. So that makes total sense.
Yeah, I think that's why the whole phenomenon of citizen journalism, so to speak, has become a thing over the last decade or so. Have you guys know about this, right?
You mean, are you talking?
Not specifically.
Well, where it's like your average guy will like take a video camera and secretly like film an incident, something bad.
Yeah, they've been showing that.
Yeah,
like upload it to the internet so the world can see it, right?
Right, like when they show a lot of those buses and they're shipping the immigrants, and they'll actually have the buses all parked where you can't see what's going on, and then one guy with a camera will get over there behind on the other side of the bus and say, "See, look, they're loading them up now," right?
Exactly.
Ron.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Pop culture.
It's all right. PvP knows who I am.
Sorry.
Yeah, I know.
I'm so sorry. But yeah, if you would mind having your wrenches put in the link for history with R&R, history with Robert and
I don't know if we have any links that are in listening to us this late and looking.
Well, if anybody is.
Anybody familiar with that?
Wrenches or listening to history with R&R. It's
so shout out to that channel, everybody. Is that a name of a YouTuber or a stream or what?
He is a YouTuber and he does karaoke on Saturday nights normally.
Rambling Canuck. I know who that. Okay, yeah, I know who that is. Rambling Canuck. Everybody, check out that YouTube channel. And it's just like it's spelled. It's spelled like it's pronounced. Rambling Canuck.
Yeah, he did my he did my memoirs of a Pogue on his channel. I cannot transfer the videos that I talked with him on to my channel because for YouTube reasons, but he has all of my history, all of my army history in 20 years of the Iraq War. He has all of that. And a memoir of a Pogue is supposed to be something that is really, unique and interesting. But I don't know because I was there and I don't give a shit anymore. I just don't want to deal with it.
I can understand that. And he's a nice guy. I've been on this. Well, it's been a while, but I used to check out his karaoke's every now and then. He's a nice guy. I remember he was going through, I think, kidney dialysis and all that, right?
Yeah,
That
yeah,
doesn't sound like too
exactly.
much fun. God,
Yeah,
that's wow.
he and I talk all the time behind screens.
Yeah, but I remember he had found true love. There's some woman somewhere I can't remember that he fell in love with, and every now and then I see them posting pictures together. So I'm happy for him, and he's got some kids that seem like pretty nice kids. And
Oh, that's
I see,
great.
I think I'm friends with him on Facebook. I still see some of
Oh,
his postings on
really
Yeah,
Facebook.
yeah,
that's really great.
yeah. Fantastic stuff, and he still does a bunch of live stream stuff. So
I
absolutely,
know I'm just not a singer. That's why I don't get on the karaoke. I don't sing, but I know he was doing karaoke. Yeah, and I met him. I can't remember how I originally got familiar with his stream, but it was years ago. He's been on for a while now, definitely longer than I have.
oh, 3 or 4 years. Yeah,
Yeah.
both of them have been on for 3 or 4 years. 3 years, I think, is the last um, karaoke stream we had 3 years ago, I think.
But he still does it though, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, every Saturday night when he's
Okay,
able to.
when he's able to. Well,
He
I'm glad to
can't
see
do
he's
it
still
tonight.
around.
And
But
so
yeah.
here I am, Pop. Here I am because he's not doing karaoke tonight.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, he's like a really nice guy from what I've seen. So shout out to that everybody. Rambling Canuck on YouTube. How about you, PvP? You're from Canada. I'm sure you've heard of him, right? Just
Actually,
kidding.
I've not. Actually, Rambling Canuck. I should type that in right now. Actually, I
That
just
would
got a
not
few.
be a bad
I got a few
idea.
things up here.
He
Yeah, I
does a
guess there's
lot
no
of
actual link, but rambling,
he
rambling,
does a
rambling.
lot of video game streaming, but he's funny when he does it. So
Ah, looks like
Oh,
I might
very
have
cool.
something here. Ah, there we go. I got him. And I just subbed. There we go. I'll have to
All
check him out
right,
later.
there. So okay, it makes me happy when I can turn somebody on to a fellow YouTuber. I've only
Well,
been streaming like a year and a half, I think, but yeah, he's been around for a while.
you
Definitely, like I
probably
said, longer than I have.
you probably
it's
observed over the months, Pop, that I do tend to be a rambling Canuck myself. Some streams.
Oh, so it's all of you guys up there, huh? It's all your fault.
Oh,
it's
jeez.
it's
Oh
all
man.
Rambling Canuck's fault. We
Right.
give up.
Sometimes the best streams, the best streams do go on a ramble at times, though. I guess you know.
They do.
No, but
And I
It's
like
it's a
it.
it's a ramble on the rumble.
Yeah,
when
exactly right.
when he was starting ramblings with R&R, it was Richard, the other Navy veteran that I knew. He was on the Enterprise, I think. I don't remember
The real
specifically.
Enterprise.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's
the
cool.
real Enterprise.
Cool.
And we had so much fun. We had so much fun talking about how the Army is so much different from the Navy, but we were in the same Gulf at the same time, and it was so much fun.
Very cool. Is he still around, or did he pass away?
No, he passed away.
Hmm.
Yeah, I remember hearing something about that.
Hmm.
Oh well, rest his soul, though. That's too bad.
Yeah, I do really miss him too, because it was fun every Sunday night when he did Off the Rails Theater. It was fun because every time we would come on, it would be, you know, sorry, I got this morose. I apologize.
Oh no, it's no problem at all. No,
Well,
that's what we're here for, to share everything like that.
it's a thing. Sometimes people on here that you watch their channels for a while and maybe enjoyed their content quite a bit, and then all of a sudden one day they're gone, right? And
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like
exactly, and
holy
that's
shit, It's like
yeah.
man, that sucks.
exactly Admiral Oliver Doom, Oliver
Doom.
Franklin Doom was one of my best friends. I miss him so much.
And that was right about when I was first coming onto YouTube, when I started hearing that he had just passed away. So that was right about when I started coming on. I was still in the chat back then. I didn't have my own stream back then, but yeah, I was just coming into the chat when people were talking about he had just passed away. And he
How
sounded
many
like a nice
years?
guy.
How long you been on YouTube, Pop? I forget now.
Well, I started with chat, and it was around the same time that Admiral Doom here passed away. I'm guessing maybe 6 years, 5, 6 years.
No,
Okay.
it's only been
Longer?
3
Not
years.
as long? 3 years?
3 years.
Well, I've been on.
Yeah.
Okay, actually participating in the chat.
2020
Right.
is when he died. Yeah.
Right. I was watching YouTube for many years. I don't remember when I started watching YouTube. I just watching YouTube content. But participating in the chat was around like 3 or 4 years ago, like Mr. CCTV
Yeah.
said.
I started with Jediville's channel.
Yeah,
Back in 2020. So yeah.
Yeah, and I first hung around the chat for the longest time, and then I would just watch streams and not participate. And then eventually start chatting, and then eventually, well, thanks to anti-derivative Jill, here I am. So I guess I have my own channel.
That was my experience too, Pop. It's like when I first started, maybe, I don't know, 5 years ago or whatever, I was just basically watching content and found channels I liked. So I'd watch them every week because they had new stuff, right? And then after, a couple of years, I thought, this is ridiculous. I should sign up for an actual account so I can actually talk to these people in the chat once in a while, right? And get to
Yep.
know them. So that's when I signed up, and it was totally life-changing experience, of course, because then I started to meet all kinds of cool people that I could actually share ideas back and forth with. And ever since then, well, I mean, I'm just a YouTube junkie basically now.
Well, you start
Way too much.
realizing it's great because
Totally
you start,
understand that. I totally understand that. Yeah.
you start realizing there's other people out there that enjoy the same things we do, right? That's,
Yeah.
that we still exist. We're not the only ones. We're not the only ones that are crazy.
Exactly. And it's like, when you like have coworkers, well, I work at home now, so it's not really a thing anymore. But when I did work in the office, I mean, I work with great people. They were all very nice, and everybody's very respectful and everything. And, actually, seem to give a shit about each other. But, let's face it, you're not going to chat during your lunch hour about sci-fi with anybody at work, right? It ain't going to happen. And
Yeah,
most of
you're
them
right.
probably wouldn't
For
know.
the most part,
Most of them wouldn't know.
you are absolutely correct. Yeah.
Yeah, they wouldn't know Star Trek from Star Wars, most of them, right? Because they're just not, into the things we are. So that's why I love YouTube so much, because I can come on here and, hang out with my people, right?
Right? Yeah, like Trek. We can talk about Trek forever. We may not be able to watch new Trek anymore, but we'll always have the classics to go back on and talk about and share and everything. So yeah, definitely.
TOS is always the one I go back to, because the good ones I could watch 1,000 times, and they're so well structured, so well paced. There's no, like you mentioned earlier in your rant, there's none of that B story crap. It's all the A story. The entire episode is an A story with just one storyline, and probably 80% of TOS is absolutely fantastic. I mean, sure, there's some crap.
I would say
episodes.
95% if it was me, but
Oh, probably. I mean,
I can agree with you there.
I'd have to get Jill to run the math, right?
Well, we have a good example.
Yeah, absolutely. You would have to run the math.
Yeah.
You would have
Right.
to run the math.
But
I don't believe it's 80%. I believe it's probably more
higher.
like 35%.
I think there's only like probably really 5 episodes that really stink, right?
Yeah, I would say a handful. Yeah, but another thing too, like with even like I know we don't usually talk about Lost in Space, but like Lost in Space and TOS are good examples. Those shows are 50 years old, but right now when you watch our streams, we're covering new material because we're going back into the backgrounds of the production of when those shows were made.
Yeah.
So even though the shows are 50 years old, we're still learning something new every time. So I think that's what's fascinating about it.
Oh, that's why I love joining on the panel.
That's what a lot of the directors and the TV producers and things like that should be doing, and they are not.
Yeah, I
They
agree.
are not doing that, and it should be that way.
It would be nice. Yeah.
Well, the problem
Yeah.
is I don't think they respect the past. I think they
They
think,
hate it.
yeah,
That's the whole reason why they're destroying the franchises. They hate and despise where
they're
it came
trying to
from.
they're
Do
deconstructing them
do they
basically.
hate the past? Do they hate the past, or
Well,
do they
like in
think?
Star Wars, it says kill the past, or what is it? You know, kill it if you have to,
All
whatever. I mean,
right,
they
kill
pretty
it
much
if you
spoke for the
have
whole world,
to.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they pretty much spoke Hollywood. That was Hollywood's whole thinking right there in one sentence: kill the past if you have to, or whatever the hell they said on that Star Wars movie.
Goddamn right,
It's some kind
Johnson.
of deconstructionism that
Yeah.
they're engaged in. Basically, they
And
don't they want to.
we see it in the day. Or we see it every day. They're physically erasing history and changing it in
Yes.
front of our very eyes.
Well, wasn't
Uh,
it wasn't it George Orwell who said those who control history can write the future?
Yep, which is what
yeah.
they're doing right in front of our very eyes
Basically,
every day. Yes.
It's scary. Yeah.
And
Orwell
of
was a
course,
very wise guy.
I took my children. I took my children to in game. I took my
you're talking about
children.
Marvel, the Endgame
Yeah,
movie.
the Marvel Endgame
Uh-huh.
movie. I took my children to that. We went to the movie theater. We got the VIP passes so we could watch the two movies that preceded Endgame. And we sat in that theater for 8 hours and we watched the movies because I'm a nerd and I want my kids to be nerds.
Right.
And now it's like I do still have a subscription to Disney Plus, but why?
If you're not watching it, don't pay for it.
Well, I'm still watching it once in a while because
Okay.
Loki is on there right now. It's like, okay, I'm watching it. I have to watch it. I'm a YouTube
Have
creator, for
to.
Christ's sakes. You know, I'm supposed to be either giving my unbridled printed, or I'm supposed to be giving unbridled rage. Either way, I just don't feel like it anymore.
I don't blame you. I give you credit though. You've got a stronger constitution than I do. I can't watch the new stuff. I used to
But
read comic books, and it's so far from what it used to be. I can't do it.
when I heard
Well, it really
Strange New
is.
Worlds did a
It's an
musical episode,
unbridled. It's an unbridled rage, or it's an unbridled praise, and there's no there's no in between. It's like I like this show because of these first 3 episodes, and then you all fucked it up. I don't like these first 3 episodes because you turned Obi-Wan Kenobi into a cuck. Okay, fine, he's a cuck. Explain why? Because he actually taught Luke on the way to Endor. He actually taught Luke. He's not a cuck. He's. Oh my God! Why am I watching these shows? Why am I watching these shows?
I couldn't do it. I've said that before on my stream. I've had people ask me why don't I cover that. I only cover stuff that I like. I'm not going to cover stuff that upset me. I can't do it. There's so much good stuff. I know I generally only focus on classics, but I'm not going to watch the new stuff. I know it might get me more subs and more clicks, but no, I'll stick to the classics.
I just can't. It doesn't matter if I can break it down. Okay, so the episode is only 30 hours, and I watch a breakdown of it for 6 hours, and I go, the 6 hour breakdown is more entertaining than the hour and a half show that I just watched. The
Yep.
6 hour breakdown is more entertaining than the hour and a half that I just watched.
Yes.
That is the worst thing that any media outlet should ever think of. Ever.
Yep. Yep. I totally agree.
One thing I like about the new stuff though, it's so shitty. I can save hundreds of hours a year not watching it.
Right. And
Fair
guys,
enough.
right, and not to
Fair enough.
mention, and sparing yourself the grief, right? And the
Exactly.
grief because you're thinking, oh my God, what have they done to my lovely Star Trek or my wonderful Star Wars or whatever? It's like, oh no,
Yeah.
I'll just you close your mind to the whole affair. Like they say, ignorance is bliss.
Oh dear
just
God, Star Trek.
Yeah.
I have been that guy who has starred or who has defended Star Trek Enterprise. I have
we have some Enterprise fans here that come in here.
Actually,
I have defended Enterprise
Enterprise.
since what 2005. I think I was deployed in Iraq in 2005.
I heard that military folks could watch it when on their off duty
And-
time or whatever.
Yes, and it was one of the best viewed shows of our military. Like we get to go and watch this episode. Okay,
Right.
fantastic. We get to go watch this episode, and I got to watch that the entire time I was deployed. I was like, okay, this is my favorite Star Trek ever. And I still to this day love Trip, and I know he ended up in Stargate Universe or Stargate Atlantis is what he ended up being most famous for. Well, no, he's Aquaman now, but anyway, back in Stargate Atlantis, nobody knew who the hell he was, and I loved Trip, and I loved Aquaman, whatever they called him, Ronan. They called him Ronan. I loved Trip, and I loved Ronan, and they were both in the same show, even though they were in different shows. Before they got into the same show, I was like, oh my God, this is awesome.
I liked Atlantis. Atlantis is a great fun show. I really like that show. There's what, 4
Atlantis
seasons?
was an amazing show.
Yeah, 4 seasons. Oh, you're thinking about Jason Momoa. Are you not, as Ronan? I just looked him up here. Yeah.
Yes.
He was
Yeah.
damn good. That was a great character. That was an awesome
Oh, he
character.
was fantastic as Ronan.
And then the whole thing with the Wraith, like the adversaries, the Wraith were awesomely cool.
He was
Love
running
them.
away from the Wraith the entire time, and
Yeah.
he survived his
They were like-
entire time running away from the Wraith.
And the
He
Wraith were
never
like
got
space vampires that would suck the life out of you with their
exactly.
bomb.
He
Like, it was
never
brilliant.
got absorbed into the Wraith.
Great
and-
show. Yeah.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. Thank
Have
you
you ever
very much
watched it, Pop?
No, not
for
me.
saying
personally.
that, because
You
Are you
should
talking about
really get
Stargate?
absolutely
Atlantis, Stargate Atlantis.
going back.
It's the second series, and it's
way
really
back.
fun.
I saw the first movie with Kurt
in
Russell, and
science
that was it.
fiction. You're,
Oh
you're
no,
talking
that's
about
totally different.
humans
That's a
who
totally
are
different animal.
overcoming
Well, no, I'm sure it morphed over
Outside.
the years.
influence. And
Atlantis is really good.
Atlantis and SG-1 also both incredible stories that came out of those concepts of humans are better than the old gods.
Well, yeah, that was a theme running through it, wasn't there? That there was like the old ones or whatever that had like built
I
all this
said too
stuff,
much, and nobody's
and
talking now.
they got so arrogant that they basically, I guess died off in some way. I forget now. I haven't watched the show in years, but yeah.
That's cool. I
Hey,
think yes.
I just want to mention. I'm just going to put it in the private chat. I don't know if you're a Rolling Stones fan, guys, but they just put out the new album. I think it was like yesterday, and they actually posted the whole thing on YouTube free. And a lot of channels have been putting it on. And I found one that's got the entire 48 minutes as one thing. Eh? So I'm just going to post a link because I was
Cool.
amazed at how good this damn album is. Like,
Bro.
it's got a lot of buzz. Like, a lot of people are saying this is the best thing they've done. Well, first album they've done in 18 years, and probably the best thing they've done since the 80s. And the thing really kicks ass. Like, there's a lot of really good rockers on it, and even the ballads are great. Some people are comparing. Well, get this. I was very skeptical because there's a 7.5 minute ballad, and it rocks out at the end. But it's got Lady Gaga doing backup vocals. Now, don't jump to conclusions. It's actually a really great song, very well written, and she's only in the background, so she's not screwing it up. And Jagger sounds fantastic through the whole album, and at least check it out once. Let's give it a listen. And there's a lot of heavy rockers, a lot of
Cool.
great Keith Richards guitar. They've got Elton John on a track. They've got they've got Paul McCartney on a really dirty heavy track, playing really dirty heavy bass, which sounds fantastic. Um, it's a really good album. They got Stevie Wonder on a track playing keyboards. It's really good. Like,
Very cool.
I was amazed. I thought it might be crap, right? But I listened to it the other day, and it's like, holy shit, this is really good.
Nice.
So I just wanted to turn you guys on. Give it a shot. Give it a listen.
Well, it's good to
See
see
what you
some. I'm glad to see that they're still out there. That some of those old school rockers are still hanging in there.
Jagger's 80.
Yep.
And when you listen to him sing on this album, I'm thinking maybe this guy's 40 at the most, right? He sounds that good. He sounds as good as he did in the 70s and 80s to my ears, which
Very cool.
blows my mind. But I guess he works out like a crazy man. Apparently, he's like constantly in the gym, staying fit, right? So I guess it makes
Oh,
sense.
good. Yeah.
But a lot of guys, when they get old rockers, their voice goes and they sound like crap, right?
Well, especially when they're heavy smokers,
Yeah, but Jagger, he still sounds like he's like a young man, right? Like, it's kind of freaky, actually. But just give it a listen and judge.
Well, consider it a
for
blessing.
yourself.
Yeah. We're lucky
Oh,
to have them still around.
that's fantastic because Richards is like in his late 70s. Ron Wood's in his late 70s, and basically it's just the three of them, the main guys now, because
Right.
everybody else is just for the
Take the
session.
bucket.
Yeah. Well, poor Charlie. I think Charlie is actually on one or two tracks I've heard. So
Oh,
that's
okay.
kind of cool. The last stuff he ever recorded with him, yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, I just wanted to mention it before the stream, before the end of the night, because it's actually, I was actually really impressed. And I'm not
All
easy
right.
to impress when it comes to music, Pop.
Well, I'm just like I said. I'm glad to see the old school people still around. So I'll
Yes.
listen to those any day over the new stuff.
And the thing is, like, they put the first single out like maybe a month ago, and it hit like 3 million views in the first 2 days.
I'm not surprised.
So that tells you something about the Stones that still have some relevancy in this old world, right?
Yeah,
And-
exactly right.
Yeah, and it's getting so many positive reviews, so many people doing reviews, talking about it. There's a real buzz, and I'm guessing this is going to bring a lot of young folks into actually giving the Stones a listen and maybe going back to their back catalog and actually
Yes.
discovering, one of the greatest rock and roll bands in history, because these boys have gone since 1962 or 64?
Yeah, early '60s. Yeah.
Or 63, I think. They've been going since 63. So that's 60 years rocking, right?
Longer than I've been around. Yeah.
Well, I was around a
Barely.
few years longer, but
Well, I'm 59, so close, very close,
Yeah.
right?
I'm 65, so I was around a little longer. But yeah, They are the oldest rock and roll band in the world.
Yep.
So,
You guys are old.
Still pulling in the crowds. I
but
give them
they
credit for that.
sound fantastic on it. I can't believe when I think of the drugs and the cigarettes that Keith Richards has consumed over 60 years, and the man can still play a brilliant guitar.
I know it, right?
Like just precise precision, great guitar licks and riffs. And I clap my hands to the man and I say, I hope you donate your body to medical science, Keith, because we could probably learn a lot.
Well, he's already got it. It's already pickled and
Undoubtedly,
preserved.
you would learn a lot from Richards. Yes, absolutely.
They're pretty cool, amazing guys, and I'm so glad they're back with a good, strong album. If it goes out to be their last one, I have heard though they cut so many tracks, they really got into it, and they have enough actually in the can for possibly a second album. So
I gotta go.
You never know.
Go.
Okay, Miss
See you guys.
CDV, have a great night, sir.
Okay,
I'm gonna be
good night.
Yeah. Good night, sir. And I'm gonna be cutting it off here pretty soon because my good buddy Canadian Spider-Man is having a stream right now. Do you know who he is?
Oh, it's Canadian. He's
doing a campfire.
Awesome.
Yeah, I just got an alert a few minutes ago. He's doing a campfire stream right now.
Oh, great! I'll pop over there. Actually, did you know he did a Cardinal Sin memorial thing earlier today?
Well, I was busy. I was doing things, and I didn't catch it till after it was over. I saw that it was, but I wasn't able to be there live.
I caught like 2 minutes and just posted a quick hi and, just remembering, Gil and all that stuff. And then I had to go because I had to have a shower and everything and get to the Halloween party, right? So I was only on there for like a few minutes. So I haven't even seen the rest of the stream yet, but
okay.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, good to know because I hate sitting around staring at the walls on a Saturday. So I will
I hear you. Yeah.
I will head over to his live stream then. Great to know.
All right. Well, I will see you there because I'm going to head over and shout out and say hello to him as well. So what do they call it? I don't remember what they call it, but it's does anybody listening? Everybody head over to Canadian Spider-Man's channel.
Yeah, it's like oh God, what is it?
I know there's a phrase for it. I used to hear it on Captain Kennedy's channel.
I know what you mean.
A channel raid. That's it.
It's a channel raid. That's it. Okay.
Right. I don't know if there's anybody listening, but meet us over there.
Put channel raid in the chat, and that'll clue them in.
Anyway, I think
I'm sorry I was so late, but I had to go to the party. And
no, I'm glad we were still up and on when you got home.
Well, great fun stream. Actually, I really enjoyed it tonight, Pop. So
yeah, it was nice change of topics.
Yeah. Oh, you're doing Lost in Space Monday, hopefully.
Absolutely, I'm feeling much better since that. My Dr. Yakula gave me a blood transfusion. I know I wish I was joking, but I'm not.
I actually left a comment on her community page before I went to the party.
I saw
today.
that. It's like, oh,
good.
Some people thought I was joking, but it's like, no, I actually do have a Dr. Yakula.
A Dr. Acula. Like, how good is that? Like 10 days before Halloween, too, right?
Right. And my blood doctor does a blood transfusion, exactly. Which makes me feel creepy because I actually feel better. It's like, was that what I needed?
Maybe that was it. Maybe it was this low blood count or something that was making you feel ill.
Anemic. I was anemic. Yeah, my little red blood cells, I guess.
I'm glad they found that out, so that's good.
Me too, because that was one I was having trouble with it last month. But now that they've got it figured out, I got the blood transfusion and I bought a shitload of vitamins. I'm going to really stock up, so I'll be eating better too.
You sound really good tonight. I got to say, your voice sounds really strong, and you sound really well tonight.
Much better, yeah. That's what I'm saying. Maybe I just need more blood, huh?
Could be. Well, it's that time of the year when people are out looking for blood,
Absolutely. Absolutely, definitely.
Don't grow fangs, though, okay?
I'll try my best. No, just give me the superpowers, and that's all I need. I don't want to be immortal or anything else.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind some of those superpowers myself, actually.
Exactly. All right, I'll see you over
okay.
on Spidey's channel.
See you soon then, Pop.
Good night, everybody. Take care. Have a great night, and drive safe tomorrow. Peace out.
Bye, everybody.